Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. 8 days after firing Sean McDermott, the Bills hired their new head coach, promoted the man who's been their offensive coordinator the last 2+ years, Joe Brady, during which quarterback Josh Allen won NFL MVP and running back James Cook captured the rushing title. In addition, the team, for the most problem, had no putting up points as well. Brady gets a 5-year contract. He now starts putting together his coaching staff, and the front office has work to do too, points out our Harry Douglas.
They still need better personnel, another receiver, another number one guy that he can go to at any juncture in the ball game, whether he's double covered, whether he's one-on-one, whether, it's a contested catch. They still need that guy.
Steelers coach Mike McCarthy got choked up at times at his introductory news conference when speaking of the chance to coach the team he grew up rooting for. When asked if he'd like Aaron Rodgers to return as quarterback in Pittsburgh, McCarthy replied, definitely. Days after firing 7 assistant coaches, Jets coach Aaron Glenn fired offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand as he continues to overhaul his coaching staff. Houston's Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa out of the World Baseball Classic, couldn't get insurance on their contracts.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Wednesday, we asked Mel Kiper Jr. if Mike McCarthy can turn Will Howard into the Steelers' quarterback of the future when he joins us at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. It's on Sportsman, like 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tom play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Shea Dixon in about 15 minutes. Another big win for the 2019 Tigers. Joe Brady is an NFL head coach. LSU tight end transfer Zach Grace in hour 3. Ton to do. Let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Senior Bowl is going on in Mobile. And obviously there is the NFL component of it, as all of these NFL teams are looking for potential draft prospects and guys that could very well be key impact players for them in the future. There's also the component, as you look at it through a college lens, of looking at guys that you cheered for during their college careers and them looking ahead to their futures. And in the case of Garrett Nussmeier, however, there's a little bit of a look back, actually, because this was just such a it was a bizarre season for Garrett Nussmeier. He returned to college football for his 5th season, the leading returning passer in college football, having thrown for 4,000 yards a season ago, and comes into this year with so much expectation. He was a projected first-round draft pick. He, Cade Klubnik, Arch Manning were all among the betting favorites to win the Heisman Trophy. And in fall camp, we learned that Garrett Nussmeier was on a little bit of a pitch count, as Brian Kelly would say. And then he continued to ramp up and improve. And then late in the season, we learned of a re-injure. And the Texas A&M game where he was pulled was the last time we saw Garrett Nussmeier play in an LSU uniform. So one of the most fascinating things for me is trying to make sense out of what happened, how it affected Nussmeier, and how it might impact his future, being able to explain that. Because there's 2 components to this. Now, the first part of that, the what happened, is a look back. And quite honestly, I'm not so sure how many LSU fans are going to be deeply interested in the immediacy of looking back to find out and learn what happened with Garrett. Because that was cloaked and shrouded in a season of negativity. And in this very moment, that feels like another lifetime, doesn't it? I mean, just look at what the last 2 months have been like since introducing Lane Kiffin on December the 1st, signing that high school class, getting Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson on board, flipping Corey Barber from Ole Miss, who's now a 5-star, going through with all hiring the staff, all that went into that, watching Ole Miss on their run, the coaches going back and forth and the portal cycle. I mean, it feels like we've lived 2 years in 2 months, and the 25 season feels like forever ago, and there's such a positive trajectory for the program that I get the sense most people probably wouldn't be super pumped to look back and think about what went wrong in 2025, because in a small dose of irony, the worst thing that happened, which was LSU having a really bad season, could end up being the catalyst for a net positive, right? Which moved on to hiring Lane Kiffin and now building this portal class and all the things which, could be sort of this renaissance of the program under Lane Kiffin. It remains to be seen. But Garrett Nussmeier is a guy that I think throughout this pre-draft process probably has the most to gain. Certainly among the LSU guys going into the draft, but you could argue in the entire draft, he's got the most to gain. Because this was a guy that was a projected first-round draft pick who saw this season go terribly wrong, where he threw for just 1,900 yards, averaged just over 200 yards passing per game, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, didn't play the month of November or in the bowl game. So Nussmeier goes into this pre-draft process, Senior Bowl, Combine, Pro Day, top 30 visits, all of it, with a ton to prove that he's more reminiscent of the 2024 Garrett Nussmeier and not so much the 2025 Garrett Nussmeier. Well, obviously, the thing that throughout this draft process, Garrett is going to have to answer over and over and over again. We may not get the actual answer until the Combine, when he goes through the physical for probably 32 teams that, tug on every arm and twist everything to do their own evaluations of him. But this is the first time we've heard Garrett speak about it. And on Monday, he was at the podium at the Senior Bowl. Now, full disclosure, this is all audio from cell phones, people in the crowd videoing. So there wasn't a box audio. So the audio isn't great. But this was Garrett's about 20 seconds talking about kind of the process of getting back to healthy.
Yeah, obviously it's been a long process for me dealing with the injury, and so it was kind of down to the wire-ish. Obviously, I had that re-injure towards the end of the season, and so been working, really hard to try and get back healthy. And so, as soon as we realized that, hey, okay, I can go do this, it was a no-brainer.
He was talking about no-brainer to play in the Senior Bowl, right? Or to participate this week when he was healthy. So this morning, Tuesday morning, our guys Hester and Flynn, they're there in Mobile for the week, hosting off the bench. Make sure you catch the guys weekday mornings over there. The great thing is the access that they get, right? They get opportunities to talk to these players. So Nuss sat down with Hester and Flynn earlier today, and they asked how he's feeling.
I feel good. I mean, it's been a long process trying to get healthy, and we're really able to get some answers. Not actually, probably about a month ago was the first time we kind of really figured out what it was. Finally got a good plan to try and get healthy, and so, it was a game time decision to see if I could be able to come out here, and once I was able to, hey, I can go, it was full go, and so it's a great opportunity for me.
What's interesting is he said it was about a month ago that they actually figured out what the injury was. So, what was the injury?
Talking to the injury, I couldn't use my core. I've been having to just kind of go back from the ground up and train myself and, get back to finishing throws and rotating through the ball, actually using my core now. Mm-hmm. It's been nice. The ball is definitely coming out a lot different.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah, it's been good.
He said he couldn't use his core, but he didn't say what the injury was. So I think there's still some lingering questions out there as to what, and by the way, so a month ago would have been the end of December, right? A month ago would have been when they played, look, today's January 27th. They played the bowl game December 27th. So a month ago was right around the bowl game. He had already at that point not been playing for nearly 2 months. Remember, the A&M game was at the end of October. He didn't play all of November, and then a month ago was the end of December. So basically 2 months. He hadn't been playing for 2 months, and he says that's about when we realized what the issue was. Still didn't say what that is. I'm going to be fascinated if and whenever we do find that out, because if it was an oblique strain or an oblique tear or whatever, right, the abdominal issue in the core was, it seems like a lot of that would have been able to be identified earlier in the process with an MRI, an X-ray, whatever, right? So it is odd that this thing, if it started in fall camp and then he got healthy and then had a re-aggravation later, and it took until the end of December to figure out what it was, I kind of leave this still perplexed. I don't know that we actually found out from that what, at its core, forgive the pun, was wrong with Garrett Nussmeier. And I hope that this process we do. All that said, I'm not sure that at this point it really tremendously matters, because the season was what it is. And as a result of that season, LSU's moved on to something that we all think and hope could be a much, much better thing under Lane Kiffin. But I do think that Garrett is going to have to go into these one-on-ones, into pro day, into this week at the Senior Bowl, and answer that question about what actually was wrong, and hopefully throws the ball and is physically really well, more resembling who he was throughout his career before this year, which will potentially lead him to being one of the biggest risers in this draft. So it's a massive week for Garrett, and certainly, provided he gets a combine invite, it'll be a massive week in Indianapolis for him as well. We'll continue to follow it, and whenever we get more clarity, we will continue to pass it along to you. All right, it's after further review. Show Up in Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Official beer of AFR. Official beer, your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Carnival's here, y'all. If you're going to be on that parade route, wherever that parade may be, make sure your ice chest is filled with plenty of delicious ice-cold Bud Light. Of course, official beer of Super Bowl 60 as well. So if you're going to have that Super Bowl party a week from Sunday, make sure you got plenty of delicious ice-cold Bud Light. They've Anheuser-Busch already has released their Budweiser ad for the Super Bowl. You could see it on social media. A little bit of a tearjerker with a little baby Clydesdale. If you want to check it out, you can. It's on the Mockler page as well on Facebook or Instagram if you want to check it out there. Whatever you do, drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Okay. Shea Dixon's going to join us next. Rivals has put out their final rankings for the 2026 class, and LSU does have a new 5-star. We'll talk about it next with Shea Dixon on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. You know where to find them. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day to buy local and shop local. Get on by and see our friends over at Clegg's Nursery. Y'all, the cold weather, well, the cold weather is still here, but the freezing temperatures that have really disabled parts of our region, those seem to have passed. That's great news. So now it's time to get into just plant something mode, and Clegg's Nursery can certainly help you with that. Get by any of the 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. I want to remind you that this is the time right now. This is the time. If you're going to plant a tree, if you're going to plant shrubs, like this is the time to get those fruit trees in the ground. They got a great selection, so get on by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient. And the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trust it?
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Hey, remember over at Sunshine, they're not just lawnmowers and ag equipment. Yes, they are that, but they also sell small construction equipment. So get on by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana, sunequip.com, sunequip.com. All right, it's After Further Review, and we're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Every Tuesday, we talk a little recruiting with Shea Dixon from On 3, the Bengal Tiger. Of course, Rivals under that umbrella now. Shady's good enough to join us now. Shay, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing great. So Wednesday, a week from Wednesday, is the traditional, signing day, which won't really be a big day. But Rivals here today has released their final rankings. And I guess most notable for our audience is that there's a new 5-star, Corey Barber, who flipped from Ole Miss, the receiver, got his 5th star. Tell us about him, Shay, and what went into this decision to give Corey Barber that 5th star.
Yeah, he had a really big season, senior season over in Alabama, so much so at Clay Chalkville. They made the state title. I believe, let me look, 68 catches, 1,130 yards, and 14 touchdowns. They play in a high level of classification in Bama, and as a senior, he took them to the state title. So that's elite level production. That's coming out of SEC programs. Like, that's about what your top level guy produces. And he was committed to Kiffin and Ole Miss for a while, and they kind of had viewed him as like, okay, this is that guy. Look, a year ago they leaned on Winnie Watkins so often as a true freshman, and they had a wealth of receivers with experience. And Barber just said, hey, look, we've clicked from the start. I get along with everyone from Kiffin to kind of the vision of Charlie Weiss and Dane Stevens and George McDonald and all these guys that were at Ole Miss and now at LSU. And gosh, Matt, I looked it up earlier. Kiffin, I guess the news broke that morning. By 3:00, Corey Barber had decommitted from Ole Miss and then signed with LSU 72 hours later. And we haven't had a rankings update since then. So they look at the senior year. He tore apart the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game. And when they just went back and stacked it all up, they said, look, this was a kid who was knocking on the door of the top 150, and knocking on the door, Matt, of a top 20 receiver in the country. When the dust settles, they named him the number 3 receiver in the country. So remember, you had a 5-star committed in Tristan Keys at receiver. Corey Barber finished ahead of Tristan Keys in the Rivals rankings. So not only do you get your 5-star, but you actually ended up with a guy who was higher ranked.
That's really it's pretty fascinating to see how that unfolded. I guess the other really significant news there, Shea, in the Rivals rankings, 3 5-stars for LSU. The other 2, of course, are Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson. Any thoughts, takeaways there on those 2 guys and where they finished in the rankings?
Yeah, I mean, Lamar Brown has battled since he was a sophomore, kind of jockeying for, is he just the number one overall player in the country, regardless of position. And we've had him wire to wire number 1 athlete because most college coaches feel he could play offensive line or defensive line and be an all-conference, all-American type. But he's going to play defensive line at LSU. A little bit, I think he wants to play some D-end. I know he talks to Peoples a lot about that position, but he's versatile. Anyone who's seen Lamar Brown, I guess he's best summed up as not many kids who are, what is he at, 6'5", 285, and he's your number 1 athlete. That's usually someone who is a corner or a receiver, and you just don't know which one yet. So Lamar, freaky athlete, and no shock that he just stayed put in the top 10 as a 5-star. And Richard Anderson, the same. Look, I've had college coaches, high school coaches, LSU and beyond say Richard Anderson is one of the best defensive tackles that has come out of Louisiana in a long time. And you can go back to Glenn Dorsey if you felt like it. I mean, anyone who paid attention to Ed Carr and watched their football games, how much he just steamrolled everyone from about the end of his junior year through the playoffs. And then I don't think Bryce Brown and that Carr team have lost a game in like 26 outings. So he was a really big piece to it. And I think we have him as a number 3 D lineman, Matt, number 2, something like that, which is your interior guys, not your edge rushers, but a top 20 prospect. And I'll say this, and I don't think I'm being bold, but we're caught up in portal fever. We know they've got Don McKinley coming back. We know they've got Gabriel Elliford coming back. Don't sleep on these 2 guys. These are 2 of the better defensive linemen LSU signed in a while.
Shea Dixon on through the Bengal Tigers with us at Shea Dixon. Shea, if there is one thing I could look at, you look at the team with the most Rivals 300 signings, and LSU isn't really near the top of that list, in large part, I would say, because, well, they only have 15 right now, but they'll end up with 16 signees in this class. What should we make of this class? Not heavy on numbers, but heavy on talent where they did sign?
Yeah, I mean, look, they have been right there with Oregon, a program that signed 21, which is kind of pretty standard. They had Oregon is number 1 in the country. So if you averaged all 21 of their commits, they have a 92.46. So that's like you're nearing a high 4-star right there. LSU's number 2 with 91.4. And you went through a coaching change. Even when Brian Kelly was here, they only had about 14 commits. They lost a few. They replaced them with some flips from Ole Miss. And then remember, they've now they're going to add 2 more guys. One's already signed, but who didn't sign in December. So one will get finalized here in February, I guess. And the other has already been announced by LSU. So that puts them at 17. It's still a low number, but Matt, I think it's kind of how it played out. There were a number of decommitments. We talked about Tristan Keys and others. And it's pretty tough to convince down the stretch guys to commit to you when you went 5 weeks without a head coach and you didn't know if any of the coaches were staying. They were fortunate that hire happened even 3 to 4 days before signing day because they were able to hold on to the 5-stars we just talked about and add another 5-star in Corey Barber, who they flipped from Ole Miss. So up against the clock there, they did a pretty impressive job. And I look at 40-something portal guys every year is not going to happen. 2, at Ole Miss, when he was the portal king, they were signing 20-something high school guys a year. So when you've got the built-in Louisiana talent, you've got Kiffin's prowess for just wanting to recruit, and that the staff's kind of gung-ho mentality there, I think that carries well beyond the portal, and they'll be star chasing the best of the best. And he said it in his opening presser, whether it's high school or even in the portal. Look, Louisiana's Louisiana, but we will go anywhere to find the best players to build the best roster.
Shea, when you look at those rankings overall, outside of the 3 5-stars, anything else catch your eye today?
You know, the really one of the biggest talking points was Barber, because look, this is a kid who he's the number 2 player in Alabama. You know, he's not going to Bama, not going to Auburn. He was going to Ole Miss for Lane Kiffin and that staff, and them able to get him into this class, and then now these final rankings come out, and it's like, whoa, this got a freshman 5-star receiver added to the bunch here after you just signed double-digit transfers and you got some guys coming back. I thought that was notable. Really, it was a lot of holding serve, I feel like, for LSU in a way, and not a lot of up and down. I mean, we know the guys who stuck with him the whole time. Deuce Gerald's has been that top 100 guy as a D lineman. He's in a great D line class. Same with Trenton Henderson on the edge. And I love Bryson Martinez, a kid out of East Ascension who played a lot of tight end, offensive tackle, but he's nearing 6'6", 290, and we know they need tackles, so that's a big one. And I'd be remiss if I just didn't say it, and I wish I could back it up here. Maybe you can give me the answer, and I may be missing one recently, but Corey Raymond really honed in when it wasn't Louisiana. He got his Louisiana corner in Des Ellis, but on Haven Finney out at Sierra Canyon in L.A., and he committed early, and everyone tried to flip him, and he signed. And I cannot remember the last time LSU held on to a California kid who was widely considered to be one of the better players at his position in the country.
Well, if you can't remember, I got no shot at doing that, man. I mean, and Finney was the number 1 cornerback for 2027, right? Who reclassed into 2026?
Correct. So he's young for his age and still very highly ranked. So yes, I think that's one of the benefits there is that he's going to be a guy who's going to be able to be in college but younger, so that development that you want is still ahead of him, as opposed to him maybe being old for his grade or something like that. And look, let's give another hat tip. One last one, Braden Allen, who was a late ad. There was so much craziness those few days before signing day, right after Kiffin got hired. But he's out of LCA, which is a great program over in Lafayette. But he was committed to Oklahoma, and he flipped LSU and got on board with kind of Frank had the offer. Then he committed and went up there and met with Kiffin on day one. And he was a 3-star at the time. And now in the final rankings, we've got him as inside the Rivals 300. So one of the top 300 players out there, regardless of position, and firmly inside the top 10 players in the state. So they did a pretty good job of kind of beyond Blaine Bradford, really keeping the top ranked guys at home.
Jay, is there any other prospect? I know they added a couple late ads that we might see pop or worth keeping an eye on there for a week from Wednesday on the February signing period?
I'm going to maybe speak this into existence because you've asked me this twice before and I said no both times. Okay. And within days, they offered somebody and then ultimately committed them. But I have not heard any buzz. Okay. And it's coming up quick here. That's next Wednesday. But yeah, Amari Peterson, the corner out of Orlando, has already been announced by LSU. So he's an early enrollee, just didn't sign in that early period. So the guy to watch next Wednesday is Jackson Williams, who we talked about last week, coming out of Shaw as a safety, and a Tulane commit who just kind of got caught up in that coaching change. And instead of going over to Florida, he got the LSU offer and said, I'm in. So he'll sign next week. And I think that will be the only high school guy they add here.
He is Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Make sure you get him at Shea Dixon. Good enough to join us Tuesdays here throughout the year. Talk a little Cruden. Man, we appreciate it. Thanks, Shea.
Thanks so much, Matt.
All right, be well. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. You can always start by visiting them online at firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, start there. You want to explore that rural lifestyle, they got loans for land. If you're a new farmer, agriculture, they can even help you finance your ag equipment if you need that. Listen, if you're a farmer, you know, though, that First South Farm Credit has been first in financing agricultural land in Louisiana for more than 100 years. But they do so much more than just that. You want that recreational property? You've been thinking about buying your own hunting property? First South Farm Credit can help you do it. Maybe it's an investment property. Maybe you're coming off the end of the year. You're looking at your tax situation. You talk to your CPA. Buying recreational timber property could be a great tax investment for you as well. Or maybe what you're looking for is 100 acres to build your family's dream home and have some land, they could do that for you as well. It's First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here on this Tuesday edition of AFR. We are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. And also, before this hour is over, I do want to give a little hat tip to Joe Brady. If you haven't heard, the former LSU passing game coordinator, the Broyles Award winner from 2019. He is now an NFL head coach. He's been promoted in Buffalo. So we'll give you some context on that and some reaction coming up here in about 15 minutes from right now. Let me know. I got a quick break. Stick around. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
People use the line all the time, new year, new you. And it's convenient. It makes sense. But we're here now at the end of January, and a lot of people, maybe you had that New Year's resolution to lose weight, get in shape, look your best, feel your best. And maybe you've already abandoned that New Year's resolution. Well, it's time to get it back on track. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help. And this is not just ED treatments. Yes, they have all different types of ED treatments and more beyond just the little blue pill. But there's so much more than just that. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. If you want to learn more about everything that they offer at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com is the website if you want to learn more about hormone replacement therapy, about the dozens of different peptides that they offer that can help with things like muscle recovery, mental fog, brain fog, building muscle, burning fat. It's yourgoodwood.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Trust isn't given, it's earned. Earned by showing up, putting in the work, the hours that nobody sees. I didn't get here on my own. I trust my coaches to lead, my teammates to step up, and when the game is on the line, Our Lady of the Lake to keep me healthy and on the court. Because it takes a champion to care for a champion. I trust the Lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of JB Falgu.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email LockeMeredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Out in these fields in the hot summer sun,
Over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes with a basket full of chickens.
It's, I think, the expected news ultimately. I don't think either one of these sides necessarily thought it was the best idea to drag this into court. Duke felt like it was entitled to money with Darian Mensah trying to leave. The way they structured the contract, they essentially owned his NIL rights moving forward. Mensah's camp would point out that you can't restrict an athlete's ability to enroll in one school and move from one school to another, especially when they're not employees. And this had the potential to be a precedent-setting case in court. But ultimately, Duke is probably going to get some amount of money. I've been told this is one of the more significant settlements of a college athletics contract in history. And Mensah is ultimately going to end up at Miami.
That's Chris Hummer from CBS Sports. You didn't hear the news today. Darian Mensah, the Mensah-Duke-Miami love triangle saga is over. That they have agreed to a settlement of that dispute, so it'll not go to court. Miami will pay Duke an undisclosed sum, and Darian Mensah will be allowed to transfer. He will enroll at Miami and be the quarterback who replaces Carson Beck for the national runner-up in 2026. It was interesting. Like, I knew Darian Mensah had a good season. I mean, Duke won the ACC championship. Mensah threw for 3,973 yards. He was just shy of 4,000 yards and 34 passing touchdowns. This was Duke's first outright ACC title since 1962. Of course, we know Mensah started his career at Tulane, left Tulane at the end of last season for Duke, and had this great season at Duke. Now he's parlayed that into an even bigger payday going down to Miami. I would say I really have like three takeaways from this. Number one, it's great for Miami. I mean, they're going to pay for it, but they're going to get a stud quarterback who's 6'3", threw for 4,000 yards in the ACC and 34 touchdowns. I mean, plug, play, rinse, repeat. It's what they keep doing. Cam Ward, Carson Beck, now Darian Mensah. And if you can afford it, do it. And if you're Duke, like, I don't have a ton of sympathy for you because you just did the same thing last year to Tulane to get Mensah. I mean, you were kind of the bully that came in and swiped Tulane's quarterback. Well, now Miami just big boyed you and took your quarterback. So who happens to be the same guy. So it's almost like if you date a girl and she cheated on her boyfriend with you, don't be shocked when she cheats on you with somebody else. It's just the nature of it. I mean, it's what it is. Darian Mensah is going to the highest bidder. I'm not mad at him for that. Go get your money, kid. But I think the biggest takeaway from this will have to be you need better contracts. I mean, it's the reason DeMond Williams is still the quarterback at Washington and not the quarterback at LSU today. Because Washington and the Big Ten had better protections in their deal that dissuaded teams from trying to pay to get DeMond Williams out of that deal. That's the bottom line. So Duke, Clemson, you don't want Ole Miss coming taking your linebacker? Sign a better contract. Chris Hummer also talked about the precedent that this Darian Mensah deal will set.
It's an interesting precedent setter. I was texting with a bunch of general managers this morning across the sport who write these contracts, work with general counsels step by step to write these contracts. And all of them said basically, like, this makes me want to hold firm on buyouts moving forward or on contract language moving forward. Because we saw, based on this settlement, that Duke got something out of this deal and out of this arrangement for letting Darian Mensah essentially leave and break his contract. And I think if I'm an athlete, I see Darian Mensah break this contract and I think, why can't I do the same? To be honest, like, there are no restrictions on Darian Mensah from moving despite what was a record-setting contract before. So in some ways, I think both school and athlete are going to be more emboldened moving forward to try to test the boundaries of these deals.
It's true, as long as you have a school that's willing to pay a large sum of money for the buyout. I mean, if you're not a good enough athlete to warrant the buyout from another school, careful what you sign. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We are brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Want to see 2020? Call 924-2020. Super easy. You go to the website 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. You'll see right there in the center of the homepage, like the thing right there in the middle of the homepage, is a button that says schedule an eye exam. So, like, you literally just tap that button and then you can schedule your eye exam. And that eye exam or that consultation, it can be done virtually. if you're thinking about LASIK or you want to find out what your options are for your specific issue, maybe you're nearsighted, you're farsighted, you have an astigmatism, they have an option for you. There is a refractive procedure for you, no matter your age or your refractive issue. Just learn more today at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. That's Williamson, EYE.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Texas Longhorns.
Western Kentucky All-American offensive lineman Lawrence Seymour has signed with Texas. He was a second-team All-American in 2025 from FWAA, also All-Conference USA. So leaving the Hilltoppers, headed to the 40 Acres. Also played for Akron and Miami. By the way, it's not 100% clear if Seymour has eligibility for the 2026 season. He's going through the waiver process. His agent's optimistic it'll be approved. One worth watching, but it would be a big get for Texas if they get him.
The Florida Gators.
Florida's landed transfer commitment from Indiana wide receiver Ace Signoli. He was a walk-on for the Hoosiers during their national championship run this year. 5'11", 169-pounder, so he's a rising redshirt freshman. Did not play for the Hoosiers in a game in 2025. Had interest from North Carolina, Virginia, UConn, Wake Forest, and Brown. He's Florida's 30th transfer commitment of this offseason.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Jadeus Richard, who spent 3 years with Miami, has committed to Tennessee. He's a cornerback, by the way. 6'1", 195, former four-star from West Monroe. Went to Miami, now is headed to Tennessee to play for the Vols.
The Missouri Tigers.
Mizzou's had a commitment from in-state running back out of Lee Summit, Missouri, by the way. A lot of really good LSU athletes coming out of Lee Summit. His name's Preston Hatfield, sorry. He's ranked the 24th best player in the state of Missouri, the second running back addition to Mizzou's 2026 class, joining three-star Maxwell Warner.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
And Bama is expected to hire veteran NFL and college assistant offensive line coach Adrian Clem. So, let's see, 24/7 Sports, Matt Zenitz and Alex Scarborough had it first. So, senior defensive assistant this year for Southern Cal, but previously had been the offensive line coach for the New England Patriots, Oregon Ducks, the Pittsburgh Steelers, UCLA, SMU. So, tons of offensive line experience. Clem is headed to Tuscaloosa. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC Tuesday shows powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Yeah, they got ag equipment. They also got Gators, zero-turn mowers, and small machinery as well if you want to check it out there at small construction equipment at sunequip.com. And fired up, man. I pass it every day on I-10, the new Piku exit. You can see from I-10, they're building the newest Sunshine location right there. If you're passing down I-10, no matter which direction you're going, but it's on the, I guess that would be, if you're heading west, it would be on the north side of the interstate. You can't miss it. It's a brand new building they're building right there. They put up the Sunshine logo on the building now, so now you really can't miss it. Sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Looking forward to that grand opening coming up here in about another month or so. So we'll tell you about it when it happens. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Joe Brady has been hired as the new head coach of the Bills. Got some thoughts on that coming up here in just a quick second. Hey, we are a little more than a week away from the NBA trade deadline, and we have talked virtually zero Pels this year with good reason. They are awful. And so there's really nothing to talk about as far as the on-floor product right now. When this season's over, they'll go through a coaching search and all that stuff. However, what is interesting is off the floor, there's some conversations with the trade deadline coming about could New Orleans make a run at Ja Morant? What do you do with Zion, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy? Like, are any of these players potential, Jose Alvarado, potential trade assets here at the deadline? It could be for your new Vice President of Basketball Operations, Joe Dumars, could be a pretty significant trade deadline. And so we'll talk to Jake Madison about that in 30 minutes from right now. I'm not here to break down Pels games. I mean, they stink. It's what they are. It's just there's no sense in doing it. They're terrible. So But as far as shaping the roster and reshaping the roster, we'll have those conversations when warranted. So we'll do that with Jake in about 30 minutes from right now. And LSU, Oregon transfer tight end H-back Zach Grace is here straight up hour 3. So an hour and 15 minutes from right now. We'll look forward to that conversation. All right, stay with us. It's AFR.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Hey, look, Gordon and his team practice all over the state of Louisiana. So it really doesn't matter where you are in Louisiana. If you call 888-8888, 888-8888, you will get a Gordon McKernan Injury Attorney office near you. Alexandria, Baton Rouge, Denham, Gonzales, Hammond, Houma, Lafayette, Lake Charles, Monroe, New Orleans, Shreveport, Zachary, offices all over. So no matter where you are in the state, they can help. And it doesn't matter if it's a car accident, big truck, personal injury. Our friends over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, they can help get what you deserve. It's easy. You can schedule that consultation online for free. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. You can fill out the form right there to get your free consultation. You can always call 888-8888, 888-8888. Get Gordon and get it done.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making quality roofing affordable for South Louisiana families.
Dr. Johnson, that's my guy. He gonna tell me when I need to do better. He gonna tell me when I need to slow down. And I trust him 100%. The medical care that I receive at LSU and with Our Lady of the Lake is top tier. I really trust what they telling me, and they keep me right.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Got an interesting question on the text line from Adrian, who said, Matt, do you think the Steelers will draft Garrett Nussmeier since Mike McCarthy's the head coach there and used to coach with his dad in Dallas? It's an interesting proposition. I think so much of Nussmeier's draft stock is going to depend just specifically on what teams learn about this injury. Now, and so all that to say, let me elaborate. All that to say, if teams learn that Garrett Nussmeier is 100% and they're very comfortable with where he is today relative to the film he put out in 2024, you may see a situation where a team with a early day 2 pick takes a swing at Garrett Nussmeier. Obviously, the deeper into the draft you get, the less risk there is. It's kind of like the conversation that we had about the Saints drafting quarterbacks, where they drafted Jake Haener with a 4, they took Spencer Rattler with a 5, and my point was, listen, if you're not going to use a first-round pick on a quarterback, then just keep taking one every year. I mean, it's like the nickel slots. Just keep feeding the nickel slot machine until you hit a jackpot. And if you whiff on a 4th or a 5th round pick, I mean, you'd love to find a guy that's in those middle rounds that becomes a starter for you at a different position. But if you hit on a Dak Prescott in round 4 or Kirk Cousins in round 5, it reshapes your organization and the trajectory. Now, ultimately, we know what happened with the Saints. I mean, they took Tyler Shuck in early round 2, and that appears to have hit here. But, specifically with Pittsburgh, there's a giant question as to whether or not Aaron Rodgers comes back. They did draft Will Howard a year ago, the former Kansas State quarterback who, as a transfer, led Ohio State to a national championship. So Will Howard is there, but I guess I would say to you this way: if you're Pittsburgh and Garrett Nussmeier is sitting there at the start of day 3, and you're in around 4, like, do you take a flyer? Yes. I mean, I would imagine any team would be happy to take a flyer on Garrett Nussmeier, a guy with first-round talent potential, who, because of an injury and a not great senior season, falls. But that's why I think Garrett is one of the most interesting prospects in this entire draft, because if he can go through this pre-draft process, prove that he's healthy, and why the production and productivity wasn't there this year, I think you get a lot of teams believing in him. Because, look, he's going to go ace the interviews. I mean, he's genuine, he's engaging, he's a great communicator, he's smart, he's the son of a coach. You put him on a dry erase board, let him, X and O with anybody. I mean, he's great at all that. So he can go prove the physical ability is still there. I think you'll see him rocket up draft boards, and that's going to change the shape of who might be in the market for Garrett Nussmeier. And look, even on off the bench, talked about his dad being an asset for him throughout this process.
One, he's been around the game for so long that, he's got different bits and pieces. And, he's always talking me through situational stuff. But, I mean, I like, when he's off. And, unfortunately, the Saints weren't in the playoffs this year. But when that does happen, we get more time together, Right. So it's like a good and a bad. Obviously, I want him to be competing still. But being able to sit down with him and watch some of those games in the last month, you know what I mean? And talking through things, watching things. I mean, like, you see that, you know what I mean? Don't do that. Or that type of stuff is time that, I really enjoy with him.
It's only a greater asset for Garrett as he goes throughout this pre-draft process. So we'll follow it this week there in Mobile. Remember, Hester and Flynn are there all week at Senior Bowl, so they'll be broadcasting from Radio Row in Mobile here throughout this week. Hey, we're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Thrilled that a couple of weeks ago we were named the winner of the Best Roofing Company in Ascension Parish in the official Community Choice Awards. That is completely a fan vote. So we appreciate a community vote. So we thank you so much for that honor. Of the growth in Ascension and really all over the state of Louisiana has been remarkable. And we're so pleased to be able to serve our communities. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. We do have some info up at the website right now about how winter weather, freezing, ice, all that stuff could potentially be a hazard to your roof. So if you want info, it's there at the website. Or if you just want us to have our crews come give you a check, we could do that. Inspections are always free. Just go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. When you go to the website, you'll see the form right there on the homepage. Fill out the form, and boom, we'll be in touch immediately. And if you want, as an owner, a partner in Parish Construction and Roofing, I can help facilitate for you. So if you want to shoot me a text, a DM, something like that, an email, I'm more than happy to help facilitate as well. But you can always go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, and just fill out the form on the homepage for Parish Construction and Roofing. Do business with someone you know, Parish Construction and Roofing. You probably saw the news today. The Buffalo Bills have promoted Joe Brady to their head coach, 5-year deal. He replaces Sean McDermott. He was, promoted there as the offensive coordinator week 11 of 2023. Since then, the Bills have been first in EPA per play, second in points per game. They had 9 games this season where they scored 30-plus, that tied with the Rams for the most in the NFL. Of course, a year ago, Josh Allen won the MVP. This year, James Cook won the rushing title. Josh Allen is going to turn 30 in May and apparently sat in on these interviews for the new coach. He had a big say in this, and apparently Allen and Brady's relationship was a big part of this. So another win for 2019 LSU. Joe Brady, of course, the passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach on that team in 2019, now an NFL head coach at just 36 years old. So congratulations to Joe Brady. Head coach, and that 2019 roster has accumulated more than $1.1 billion in NFL contracts. SportsCenter's coming up. Hour 2 next.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about relief windows, especially on a week like this where we've had these temperatures getting down into the low 20s. It's a great reminder about making your home energy efficient. Now, the opposite happens during the summer when it's super hot outside and you want to make sure that your home stays cool and climate controlled. But think about it this time of year. I mean, you've all been there. Like, you walk into a room that's drafty. You know what I mean? Like when you wake up in the morning and you're bare feet and you're walking through your house and you walk into a room in your house and it's drafty. Well, chances are a key reason why it is drafty and cold in that room is because you do not have energy efficient windows. You have windows that have costly air leaks. It's allowing that cold air in and making your heater, your furnace, work harder to warm your home. So you want to make your home more energy efficient. You want to beautify your home, increase your home's resale value. You want Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. They do shutters too. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Another NFL head coaching vacancy has been filled. The Bills promoted offensive coordinator Joe Brady to head coach as he replaces the fired Sean McDermott. Brady gets a 5-year contract. In the 2+ years with him as OC, Buffalo ranked first in expected points added per play, second in points per game. Quarterback Josh Allen won his first NFL MVP, and running back James Cook finished with the rushing title. ESPN NFL analyst Marcus Spears.
I like the hire. Look, if a coach was the play caller that led me to a league MVP, I would want him to be my damn coach as well. And that's what Joe Brady was able to do with Josh Allen. And listen, this was about the margins. When you fired Sean McDermott, this is about winning the Super Bowl. So believe it, Joe Brady has a lot of pressure on him as the head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
The Titans set to hire former Giants head coach Brian Daboll as their offensive coordinator, provided he doesn't get the Raiders head coaching job. He interviewed with Vegas for the second time today. Quarterback Darian Mensah and Duke agreed to a settlement of their dispute that'll clear the way for him to transfer to another school. He is expected to transfer to Miami.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Wednesday, we asked Mel Kiper Jr. if Mike McCarthy can turn Will Howard into the Steelers' quarterback of the future when he joins us at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. It's on Sportsman, like 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We'll talk Jake Madison, Locked on Pels, here in about 15 minutes from right now. Could the Pels be sellers at the trade deadlines? Pretty big-name prospects, Zion, Trey Herb, Jose Alvarado. We'll talk about that in just about 15 minutes from right now with our buddy Jake Madison from Locked on Pels. Got 30 teams that are starting to prepare for next year in the NFL, while Seahawks and the Patriots are getting ready for Super Bowl 60 a week from Sunday there in Santa Clara. And you're going to start to get a lot of these types of pieces of content out there, sort of looking ahead to next year. And one interesting thing that PFF threw out was potential breakout players for next season. They did one for all 32 NFL teams. And for New Orleans Saints, I won't bury the lead. For the Saints, they said Devon Vele, the wide receiver, who, of course, the Saints traded for from Denver. If you don't know Vele's whole backstory, he was a 7th-round pick of the Broncos a year ago, played his rookie season in Denver, had 41 catches for 475 yards, 3 touchdowns, played in 13 games during that rookie season. The Saints traded a 4 to Denver for Vele, and he comes to the Saints and is just awful for the first 2 months he's here. In the first 9 games that Vele played with the Saints, he had 6 catches. He had 6 catches in 9 games. And then, over the final 4 games, he has 19 receptions. And then he was injured and went to IR for the remainder of the season, so that stunk. But he gave you a little glimpse of what could be for Devon Vele in 2026 if he's healthy and available for the entirety of the season. Really quickly, the quick write-up from PFF on Vele. Vele's 293 receiving yards this season may not seem like much, but he started to develop a nice rapport with quarterback Tyler Shuck before missing the Saints' final 3 games due to injury. From weeks 12 through 15, Vele earned an 84.7 PFF receiving grade while averaging nearly 60 yards per game. The Saints are searching for reliable weapons alongside Chris Olave. Vele could be an option. I think it's fair to say he could be an option, and it is absolutely fair to say the Saints are searching for viable options and weapons aside from Chris Olave. I also think part of the reason Devon Vele got so many targets is because they didn't have anybody else. I mean, you're sitting there talking about Juwan Johnson, Mason Tipton, Alvin Kamara was hurt, so you're throwing it to Audric Estime. I mean, somebody's got to get the targets. The example that I've given for years is, you look back at that awful Saints defense the year that Sean Payton was bound to get the Saints missed the playoffs. Actually, that in the back-to-back 7 and 9 seasons. Bobby Richardson was an undrafted free agent out of Indiana who, as a rookie, became a starter for the Saints and led their defensive line in tackles. The next year, Bobby Richardson didn't make the team. And you say, man, he led the defensive line in tackles. Yeah, because somebody has to. Somebody's got to make a tackle, but he wasn't a very good player. So I'm curious about Vele and what to make of him. Is the 9-game sample where he had 6 catches a more representative sample, or is it the 4 games where he had 19 catches? And it is fair to mention that happened when Tyler Shuck had taken over for Spencer Rattler. So, which is more likely to sustain? I don't know. It's also worth mentioning, you go back and look at his first year in Denver, his rookie year in Denver when he had 41 catches. His best game in Denver was week 1. He caught all 8 targets. 8 targets, 8 receptions. But that was 8 receptions for 39 yards. Dude averaged 4 yards a reception. I mean, that ain't good, y'all. Again, somebody's got to get the target. Somebody's got to do something. And maybe it will be Vele. I'm not completely poo-pooing Vele and saying this isn't viable. It could be. I just don't know that it will be. And I don't know that I would circle him as my top breakout candidate. I would actually look at a couple of guys on the defensive side. I look at Danny Stutzman as a guy that could go from, and remember, as this year played out, he started getting more and more defensive snaps as the season went along, sort of as a test balloon to see how is this going to look. Pete Werner could very well be entering his final year in New Orleans. His dead cap number and his salary invert in 2027. So this could be it for Pete Werner. So this could be a season where you see the transition from Werner to Stutzman. Stutzman's a guy I certainly think you need to circle in 2027 as potential breakout candidate defensively. And I'd say the same for Quincy Riley. Quincy Riley played in all 17 games for New Orleans as a rookie. You are looking for starting cornerback options. Could Quincy Riley be that in year 2? Maybe, maybe not. But if you're looking for breakout options, that's it. I could throw out Devin Neal. If Devin Neal's healthy, could he be that option? Maybe. Let's see what you do in the draft. You go add. We talked about Breece Hall potentially being a free agent target for New Orleans. A lot of people are projecting the Saints to draft Jeremiah Love 8th overall. If that's the case, then Neal's role obviously becomes mitigated. But it's one to watch. But look, the answer for the breakout candidate is Tyler Shuck. And I get it, how all of us here, because we're so insulated in this conversation, feel like everyone in the world knows Tyler Shuck's story. He only started 9 games. He started half the season. And he went 5-4. The Saints missed the playoffs. I don't know that as much as we focused on Shuck here, I don't know that the collective NFL consciousness focused on Tyler Shuck. I mean, maybe it's look, the rookie in New Orleans, the old guy, he's doing some good stuff. But Shedeur Sanders got more headlines than Tyler Shuck because it was Shedeur Sanders when he started playing late in the season. Shuck only had 10 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. This was still, and by the way, we all saw it, right? We saw the nuance because if you were still watching the team late in the season to watch Tyler Shuck, like I was, I'm sure many of you were, Like, you saw the nuance. You saw him lead second-half drives, game-winning field goal drive. You saw the moxie. You saw the arm strength, everything on display if you were watching it. But the reality is most NFL fans weren't watching the New Orleans Saints against the Titans in a pillow fight. You know what I mean? So, most fans weren't watching the Saints beat the Jets in the Dome. We were. The NFL wasn't. It wasn't on their radar. So when you look at what could really be potential or possible as far as a breakout, it's Tyler Shuck. He starts 17 games next year and throws for 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns, and the Saints have a winning record, maybe pushing the playoffs. Now you're talking about what a quote-unquote breakout looks like. Not can Devon Vele get back to 40 catches for 400 yards like he did as a rookie in Denver. Whatever. I hope Vele's really good, and the Saints need playmakers. And for Tyler Shuck to become what I think he can be, I don't think what many of us think he can be, you're going to have to surround him with better players. And that's going to be free agency draft, and maybe guys like Devon Vele playing better. You're taking another step in year 3, or Jalen Polk coming back off of injury, realizing some of the potential that made him a first-round pick. There's a lot of what-ifs. There's a lot of ifs there, for sure. Eric McCoy coming back off of injury, getting a Pro Bowl caliber center back healthy. Kelvin Banks, year 2, making a big league. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into the what-ifs, but you can talk all you want about Vele or Stutzman or Riley or Neal. Like, the answer is Tyler Shuck. I mean, who could become the breakout NFL star? Tyler Shuck is the one to watch. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. Hey, as all that weather came through, tons of rain over the weekend. Remember, if you had water intrusion and you need restoration or remediation work, call Parish Restoration. You can always go to the website, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. My buddy Jim Woodworth, he started with recovery efforts in New York post 9/11. Came here for the recovery efforts for the BP oil spill, and has stayed, and obviously now is run a really big and successful company that can help you with whatever type of restoration or remediation work that you may need. If it's mold remediation, if it's restoration after water intrusion or any type of damage, our friends over at Parish Restoration can help. You want to list their services, you can go to the website, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Mold, odor, they can do it all for you at parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. LSU transfer tight end Zach Grace in about 48 minutes at the top of hour number 3. When we come back, we're not talking Pels, at least not what's happening on the floor, because they're awful and nobody cares. What we'll talk about, however, is the impending trade deadline in the NBA, because the Pels could be sellers and could potentially add Ja. That's at least being floated out there. So we'll ask Jake Madison his thoughts on that when we come back. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential. Think real estate. Think Darren James. You know where to go. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Remember, when we're working with Darren James, obligates you to nothing. One of the things I love, people sometimes wonder so much, like the number one complaint to the National Association of Realtors, the number one complaint, hired my realtor, listed my home, never heard from him again. With Darren James, you never have to worry about that. Darren's actually got a communication guarantee. If at any point during the process you are not thrilled with the communication, the level of service, you can fire Darren and let you out of the contract free and clear, no questions asked. But in his entire career as a realtor, that has literally never happened. Agent225.com. Call Darren today or log on to agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I have no doubt that Our Lady of the Lake will keep me healthy. They make sure to do whatever they can in their power to make sure that we're 100%. They're constantly giving us resources, giving us advice on what to do. I think that just really helps us be the best players that we can be.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, ironworkers, boilermakers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, Call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She says she's got a dream, and I ask what it is. She wants a little farm and a yard full of kids.
Pels are 12-36. They got the worst record in the Western Conference. They've already fired their coach. They play tonight against Oklahoma City, who has the best record in the Western Conference at 37-10, and actually the best record in the entire NBA. There's really not a lot that's worth talking about, quite honestly, about this season. The future of the organization, however, is interesting, and that's why I want to bring Jake Madison on with the trade deadline a little more than a week away. Get him at NOLA Jake, Locked On Pels. Yeah, man, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, Matt.
Sure. Did I appropriately categorize the Pels at this point?
Yeah, other than all those real negative things that are going on with the team right now, how's the season been going, right?
I mean, my goodness.
It's a little bleak out there. There's at least 2 young rookies that look very promising for the team, but outside of that, it's been about as bad as it could be.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll circle to that. I wanted to have you on with the trade deadline looming, and listen, you're obviously way more plugged in, so I'm hoping you could shed some light. Let's start with the Ja situation. Just flat out, is there any realistic possibility of the Pelicans landing Ja Morant in a trade?
Yeah, I think there's a small percentage. I think, this is a rumor that when you look at how the Pelicans operate, they don't ever really want to go through a rebuild. They're just trying to stay in contention, even if that contention is just for the play-in tournament, let's say. So being one of the bottom seeds in the Western Conference playoff race, they want to remain relevant. Attendance has not been good in the Smoothie King Center this year. Adding Ja Morant to the team would do that. He's an exciting player, even if he's played fewer games than Zion Leaves in the past 4 years or so. And the price is right. They don't have tons of assets to give up, given that draft night trade to get Derek Queen in. They need to be a little bit concerned about trading future first-round picks, but it also sounds like the Memphis Grizzlies kind of want out of the Ja Morant business. So, yeah, you could find a way to get a deal done, I think, between the Memphis Grizzlies and New Orleans. That said, it doesn't feel like this is actually going to happen. And while that would be a very win-now move and kind of, part of the Pelicans' MO, I think they are thinking a little bit more long-term and realizing that this team is further away from contention than they would be otherwise. Ja Morant doesn't address any of their biggest issues, which is defense, defensive rebounding, rim protection or three-point shooting. He's not going to add anything to that. So while it's an exciting move, it's not one that I think would make them a significantly better team, and thus they should not trade future draft assets for it. And I think that's kind of how they're operating right now.
Who would make them better in those areas?
I mean, no one you can get at the trade deadline. They're 10 games out of the play-in tournament 10th spot right now. There's no single move that they can make that's going to really fix anything for this team right now. You should start playing for next year and maybe trying to get a piece or two that can address one of those areas a little bit. But also, those are pretty significant areas. Trying to find a rim protector and three-point shooter in one package is a lot easier said than done. There's maybe 4 of those guys in the NBA, and the Pelicans aren't going to have the resources or the ability to go get any of those guys right now. So they need to be making kind of moves around the edges, just restocking draft capital, those kind of things up at in the upcoming trade deadline, which is a little bit over a week away.
So obviously in the same draft with Ja was Zion as they went 1-2. Any chance that the Pels send Zion packing? What would a deal look like if there were a suitor?
I don't think you're going to see a Zion Williamson trade at the deadline. They've really been kind of indicating that they still want to build around him, or at least the remainder of this season, that they're not looking to trade him. We've heard, rumors of lists of untouchables. One of them being Trey Murphy, who's playing at an all-star level, Herb Jones, who's just an impactful defender, and Zion Williamson's been in that same list with these other players here. I think part of that is just he doesn't have much value. When you look at just how many games he's missed over the past couple of years, the off-court stuff too, the fact that he doesn't defend at a high level anymore, that's going to scare a lot of teams off, particularly for a guy that's owed $40+ million each year over the next 3 years. So that's, I think, the type of thing that's keeping teams away. So I don't see a deal at the trade deadline. I could see something coming together during the offseason when you have more suitors available, more draft capital from other teams available as draft picks open up, and just more flexibility in general. That's when I'm looking to see if they'll end up making a Zion Williamson move, and that's a franchise-altering kind of move. If you trade Zion Williamson away, you are kind of signaling we're going through a bit of a rebuild. He might not play, but he's still the most talented player on this team. We've even seen it the past 2 games where they won, and he looks incredible. That's the type of thing that I think they want to just take a measured approach on and think about a little bit longer before they pull the trigger on some sort of decision like that.
Jake, I'm not being funny, but if you're against a rebuild, you would have to have first been built to then rebuild. At what we're talking about a play-in tournament team here. I mean, what are we talking about?
No, I think if they go through a rebuild, you're looking at kind of tearing it down to the studs to a degree. I think that's building around Jeremiah Fears, Derek Queen, and maybe to a similar extent Trey Murphy the third in that group as well. But it would be kind of you're going to be bad for a couple of years. You're not even going to be a play-in tournament team in next season or the year after that. One of the good things of this team is outside of this upcoming draft, they do control their future draft picks. And so if you want to go through a rebuild, you need to control those kind of picks because there's no point in being bad otherwise.
Right.
They could be bad next year, get a top pick, add it to the core of Fears and Queen, and kind of build a little bit more naturally that way. When you look at rookies, these 2 rookies in Fears and Queen have been very good this year, I think. But rookies don't help you win in the NBA. They very rarely do. It usually takes until their 3rd year. So you're looking at a team next year that wouldn't even be that competitive, even if your 2 rookies this year take a little bit of a leap forward. It would probably be in their best interest to be more patient, but that's not exactly how this team has ever operated before. They traded away Anthony Davis, they drafted Zion Williamson, and they immediately tried to get right back into the postseason, and it just didn't work that way because rookies rarely contribute to NBA win totals their first year or 2 in the league. So I think this team just needs to be patient. That's not fun. Losing games and having nobody in the smoothie center is not a fun situation. I'm sure that's not what ownership wants as well. But if you want to build something sustainable and get to the playoffs, I don't know, in back-to-back years, which is something they've only done twice in 20-plus years here in New Orleans, that's the approach that they're going to need to take.
He's Jake Madison, Locked On Pels. Follow him at NOLA Jake. You mentioned Trey being an untouchable, I guess potentially Zion being an untouchable. Okay, who is potentially touchable at next week's deadline?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of names here. You know, the name we've heard the most about recently is second-year center Yves Missi. He's played really well over the past 2 weeks for New Orleans, and this was a guy who started 50-plus games for him last year as a rookie, but he's seen his minutes drop significantly with the emergence of Garrett Queen. While Missi is still raw, still growing, he's not a rim protector. He's not an elite rebounder either. Just a big body that can play some good center minutes, and that has a little bit of value around the league right now. So if you're looking at it just from the spreadsheet way you can look at basketball players, the asset management way you can look at basketball players, his value might be at an all-time high, and maybe you just need to cash in on it. I could certainly see him being moved. He was drafted by the old regime. We've seen Joe Dumars, Troy Weaver kind of ship out a lot of the David Griffin kind of guys. So that's a name that I think could certainly be on the move. One that pains me to say it is Jose Alvarado as well. This is someone that's a very impactful player, probably is more important for a playoff team than a bad New Orleans Pelicans team. As much as he at times is the heart and soul of this franchise, he's an undersized point guard that can struggle to defend in the half court. If you can get some draft picks for him, maybe a late first-round pick even, they've had a first-round pick on the table for him at least 2 years ago. I don't think that's where his value is at right now, but I think that's a name that they're going to look to move as well.
Any ideas on the next head coach for this team?
That's a really good question. I think you've seen James Borrego step in as the interim and really get a lot of buy-in from this team that was not there under previous head coach Willie Green, hence why they made that decision, early on in the year to fire Willie Green and elevate Borrego, and why they kept Borrego around for a while, knowing that he could kind of be the replacement for Willie Green. When it comes to the head coach, I look at this two ways. If the Pelicans truly want to be competitive, they're going to need to pay. And this is a franchise that at times has been very cheap. A top-level head coach, a Mike Malone, who has a championship ring, a Taylor Jenkins, who was fired by Memphis last year, who's a winning head coach, those guys are going to cost $10+ million. And I don't know if this franchise wants to spend that kind of money on a head coach. I think, the Saints went through a similar thing, and you know a little bit better than I do, of if their head coach is highly paid versus kind of cheap in a sense. So if they're going to be cheap, just keep James Borrego. I don't think you're going to get a better coach for the price point that you would be looking at. And the players seem to respond to him really well. But the results with him this year just haven't been there. He's not won a ton of games. I don't think he has the best roster, and there's only so much he can do. But results matter, and at the end of the day, that's what everyone's judged on here. And I don't know if the results have really warranted him being the next head coach of this team, unless they're just going to be cheap, in which case, do it.
He's Jake Madison. At NOLA Jake is where you can get him on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe, YouTube, or your favorite podcast app to Locked On Pels. We appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks for having me on, Matt.
Of course, the Pels do play tonight against OKC, 7 o'clock. They're on the road tonight. We're brought to you by Supper Club, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. The Supper Club is not open on Sundays or Mondays. They're closed Sunday, Monday, but they are opening this Sunday for a charity event. You've heard the spots run a little bit for the Tastemakers, where you could help raise money for a great cause if you book your reservation this Sunday. So this is the only Sunday that they're opening as a great way to give back to great charities it's part of the Fork Cancer benefit. So great way to give back this Sunday. If you're looking to have dinner on Sunday, you can get by Supper Club, supperclubbtr.com for your reservation. And remember, we are a little more than 2 weeks away from Valentine's. Okay, Valentine's is 2 weeks from Saturday. So as we get closer to Valentine's, about 2.5 weeks away, guys, so they're already booked. Supper Club's already booked for Valentine's Day, and I need to check with Chef Layton. When we talked last week, there was just a few spots left on the Friday before, but that week leading up to Valentine's, they still have availability. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, why not go have a Valentine's dinner earlier in the week at Supper Club, especially if you're going down to New Orleans. Remember, Valentine's Day is Saturday the 14th, the day of Endymion. So if you're going to be in New Orleans, head down to New Orleans for Endymion or for that Mardi Gras weekend, knock out Valentine's before the weekend. Get your reservation at Supper Club, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Hey, real quick, this was Chris Haynes was a live look into an NBA League Pass, and he was talking about the Pels trade deadline situation. Actually kind of falls right in line there with what Jake was saying. Okay, no worries. We'll come back to it. It's after further review. We'll now get a quick break and continue. Stay here.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Duplessis Builders, duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. If you're thinking of building a pool, call our friends over at Duplessis Builders. Better yet, log on to the website, duplessisbuilders.net, because the website is super user-friendly. And I love this function at the website, duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. You go to the website, there's a pick your pool now, and there's a pick your patio now. So if you want to build a pool or an outdoor kitchen, you can pick any of their already made designs. So you want a custom pool, no matter what features, finishes you want, resort style, they can do it all. But they also have plug-and-play models that are affordable for any budget, starting less than $50,000. Anyway, pick your pool. You can customize it with whatever stone you want. If you want fountains or lighting, you can do all that right on the website. Start your design right now. Online at duplessisbuilders.net.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I definitely trust the lake to take care of my body. Being the smallest person on the court, I just have to be in a lot better shape than everyone else, just being quicker and faster. Just having that trust on and off the court is going to help you win a lot more games.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along.
As always, big shout out to our friends over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. You want a Deere, Bunkie, and below, you're only going to one place. You're going to Sunshine. Tractors, zero-turn mowers, gators, and all different types of small construction equipment. They got it at Sunshine. Even generators, things like that for your tailgates. Baseball season's right around the bend. Going to be tailgating a little for LSU baseball out at the box. Make sure you check out our friends at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Newest location, about a month or so away from opening up, right there on Pico. You can see it from the interstate, the new Pico exit on I-10 in Baton Rouge between Highland and Seguin. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. mentioned it earlier. Joe Brady has been named the new head coach of the Buffalo Bills, replacing Sean McDermott. I guess it's never too early to start looking at early Super Bowl odds. And I got this earlier today, so we've got it up at LouisianaSports.net. They've already put out the early 2027 Super Bowl odds. So this is Super Bowl 61. And the Buffalo Bills are actually the betting favorite right now for Super Bowl 61. So Joe Brady, in what will be his maiden voyage as the head coach of the Buffalo Bills today, has the best odds to win the Super Bowl next year. So it's Bills at 9-1, Rams, Seahawks at 10-1, followed by the Eagles, Lions, Packers, Chiefs, Patriots, Ravens, Chargers, Niners, Jags. If you're wondering about your New Orleans Saints, the odds makers aren't super duper duper high on what the Saints might be. The Saints have the same odds at 100-1 as the Cleveland Browns and the Tennessee Titans. Only the Cardinals, Raiders, Dolphins, and Jets have worse odds at 150-1. So, look, I'm not so naive as to think that the New Orleans Saints with a second-year head coach and second-year quarterback are going to get hot, go and run and win a Super Bowl. We can dream. But my goodness, the story there has got to be the Buffalo Bills at 9-1, the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl next year with Joe Brady in year one. So interestingly, though, as I mentioned, when you look at those odds, and all that's again up at LouisianaSports.net. If you go to LouisianaSports.net, you hit the sports betting page, you'll see all these odds right there. So I mentioned the Saints at 100-1. The only teams that are worse are the Cardinals, Raiders, Dolphins, and Jets. Well, the Raiders have still yet to hire a head coach, although they are apparently getting closer with Davis Webb. So you remember Davis Webb, right? Davis Webb was a quarterback, the big, tall, skinny quarterback at Texas Tech. He's the guy. Remember, Baker Mayfield was a walk-on at Texas Tech and started. And ultimately, they made the decision to replace Mayfield with Webb. So Mayfield went to Oklahoma, and we know the rest of history. Ends up winning Heisman, becoming the number one pick. Webb became a third-round pick in his draft class. It was the 2017. It was the same draft class as Mahomes. Davis Webb was, but and Webb ended up transferring out anyway. But all that to say, Davis Webb might very well be the front runner at this point to be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, Sean Payton, at his season-ending press conference here on Tuesday in Denver, was asked about Davis Webb potentially becoming the head coach of the Raiders, staying in the division. And Payton was asked his thoughts on that, what that would mean for Webb. And Payton said, quote, "It would be a pain in the ass for him," end quote. And he ain't wrong. When you look at that division, Broncos, which were the 1 seed and hosted the AFC Championship game. Chargers, which made the playoffs under Jim Harbaugh. And then Chiefs, which they missed the playoffs this year, uncharacteristic. Do they bounce back next year? It's still Patrick Mahomes. We'll see. But still, that's a brutal division. You'd be coaching against Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid, twice each over the course of the year. And you'd be coaching the Raiders with awful ownership and the worst roster and the worst team in the NFL. So for Sean Payton to characterize that as, quote, "it would be a pain in the ass for him," end quote, I think Sean Payton's probably onto something there for Davis Webb. And I couldn't help but remember, I know Sean Payton's told this story a bunch, and he wrote about it in his book. And when the Saints won the Super Bowl, Sean Payton wrote a book. And I can't remember if it was Home Team. Sean wrote a book. Sean Payton and Drew Brees both wrote books after they won the Super Bowl that year. I can't remember if Sean or Drew's was Home Team. No, Sean. Okay, Sean was Home Team. It was Home Team, coaching the Saints and New Orleans. Here it is. Yeah. Home Team, coaching the Saints and New Orleans back to life. Home Team was Sean Payton's book. Anyway, in that book, Sean Payton tells the story about, in 2005, he was going to accept, coincidentally, the Raiders job. He tells the story about how he had bought a silver tie, like it was a black suit and a silver tie, to go to the introductory press conference. He was going to accept the job. And he had a conversation with Bill Parcells, who was, I think as we all know, his great mentor. And Parcells told him, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, don't just take a job to become a head coach, like take the right job. And so Sean Payton was prepared to accept that job, so much so that he had bought a silver tie to wear to the press conference to be introduced as the Raiders head coach, but ended up declining. Then the next year in 2006, he wanted the Green Bay job, and Green Bay ended up hiring Mike McCarthy instead, and Sean Payton ended up taking the Saints job in New Orleans, and we know how that all went. Of course, it paired with Drew Brees, and the rest is history. But it would be so interesting if 20 years later, after Bill Parcells advised Sean Payton, don't take the Raiders job just to take a head coaching job. Make sure it's the right job. If Sean Payton, in turn, is doing the same thing with Davis Webb for the same position with the Raiders, then in Oakland, now obviously in Las Vegas. So I don't know necessarily who the Raiders are going to hire. I know we do have this up at the website with the latest odds, the head coaching odds, with who's available. Davis Webb is the betting favorite, -120 to become the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Jim Schwartz is -350 to become the next coach of the Cleveland Browns. Now, oddly, earlier this morning when we published this over at LouisianaSports.net, you could have gotten Joe Brady at 12-1 odds to be the next head coach of the Bills. The betting favorite was Grant Udinsky, but they ended up hiring Joe Brady, as we now know. And then the other job that's open, of course, is Arizona, where Mike LaFleur at -350 is the betting favorite right now to be the next head coach of the Cardinals. So 3 jobs still remain in the NFL. Arizona, Las Vegas, and Cleveland are the 3 jobs that remain open. Cleveland. Does anybody really want to be the head coach of the Browns? I guess Jim Schwartz is already there. So he's a defensive coordinator, has been a head coach before. My God, if Jim Schwartz takes the Browns job, he would have been the coach in Detroit and Cleveland.
Cleveland's the anus of America. It's the booty.
What did Jim Schwartz do to piss off the football gods that these are the opportunities he gets? You can coach a terrible franchise. You can coach the Raiders, but at least you live in Vegas. When they were in Oakland, I'm not telling you Oakland is gorgeous, but it's across the bay from San Francisco. You're a 45-minute ride to wine country. There's some appeal there. Cleveland and Detroit. My goodness. And I guess he's going to get it because I don't know, Nate Shieldchase is the other one that I guess is kind of in the mix for this right now. But the owner in Cleveland, Haslam, apparently wants Schwartz to stay as DC, and so they're having trouble hiring a head coach. So it may just end up being Schwartz. Boy. If you were to rank the worst, least desirable cities in America, Cleveland and Detroit, can we find a list or something? You do a Google search, Muse, and see if you can find, worst major cities or least desirable cities in the United States. And Cleveland and Detroit have to be at the top of the list. And this guy may end up being the head coach, Jim Schwartz, at both of those places. Do you have something over there? What were you going to play?
I was trying to find the end of the Cleveland tourism video, at least for not Detroit. I thought I had it pulled. Let's see. Hold on. I thought I had that. Here we go. Best and worst cities to live in 2025. Least desirable so far. It says San Francisco, LA, New York, Chicago.
Least desirable. Probably just population density in a lot of those places.
Here's one that has Cleveland and Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
So there you go. New Orleans.
What was the list?
Oh, sorry. DC, Detroit.
No. Who did the list?
Oh, who did the list? Nowbam.com.
Awesome. Super credible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that is.
Nowbam. If you've ever been to Cleveland or Detroit, you'll understand why neither are desirable. God bless you, Jim Schwartz, if you end up getting the head coaching job of the Cleveland Browns. I don't know. In a former life, he pissed off somebody. He pissed off the football gods. I don't know, maybe in a former life, Jim Schwartz had like a dirty tackle on Red Grange. And so they brought him back in this life to be the head coach to the Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions. God bless. All right, it's After Further Review. We are brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Hey, get your king cakes. Listen, I know we are barreling towards Mardi Gras, and a lot of people this time of year like to eat their king cakes and like to ship king cakes. It's a very cool way to share a piece of home with people who have moved. You got a relative that's moved. Maybe you have clients who are business associates who live in another market out of town. You want to give them a little piece of carnival. You can ship a king cake from Rouse's anywhere in the lower 48. Just go to Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. They do feature the new Dr. Pepper king cake if you want to check that out. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. They are the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. They opened up Mandeville yesterday. 76 locations now appropriate as we are, of course, the United States celebrating its 250th anniversary, 1776. Now the 76th Rouse is opening up. Fired up for that. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com, Rouse's. This feels like home. All right, it's After Further Review. We're not going to quick break. A busy third hour ahead in 15 minutes. LSU tight end transfer Zach Grace coming in from Oregon. He'll be with us in 15 minutes. We'll head over to Mobile, talk Senior Bowl with Sean Fazende from Fox 8. A lot to do, and glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
REV. Let's Rev. Let'sRev.com. Let'sRev.com. You know, I can't help but think of a lot of people during this ice event, this winter event, losing power, maybe losing internet connectivity as well, and this being a great reminder of why you should switch to Rev for your home or your business, because they deliver fiber internet to your home or your business. No downtime, no interruptions, no data caps. We're talking about 5 gigs, super duper lightning speed internet in an all-fiber network, so you don't have to worry about power outages. REV, Let'sRev.com. 70,000 home and business owners trust Rev. You should as well. Let'sRev.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Dr. Johnson, that's my guy. He gonna tell me when I need to do better. He gonna tell me when I need to slow down. And I trust him 100%. The medical care that I received at LSU and with Our Lady of the Lake is top tier. I really trust what they telling me, and they keep me right.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She's the only one who really understands what gets me. She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways you get involved in the show. Feel free to text anytime. Email us, Matt at 1045ESPN.com. You can tweet me at Matt Moscona. Quite honestly, I'd appreciate that. Any opportunity to get Ole Miss fans out of my mentions and things that I would actually care about in my mentions would be great. So, yeah, please tweet me at Matt Moscona. All right, so after further review, we'll talk to Zach Grace. I'm excited about this conversation. This guy who didn't record a statistic this year at Oregon, but you go put it on the film and you realize, dude is a throwback. Like, he is a battering ram of a lead blocker. And his neck is as wide as his shoulders. Like, I'm going to be really interested to hear what Lane Kiffin pitched him on and coming into this offense. So we'll do that again with Zach Grace coming up here in about 10, 12 minutes from right now. Right now, Muso, Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we've touched on it a little bit. One more update for you there. Joe Brady, the new head coach of the Buffalo Bills, 5-year contract. 6 years now since leaving LSU in 2019 in various roles, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, and now head coach. The rise of Joe Brady from an unknown Saints assistant to now head coach in 7 years continues to be pretty awesome. 36 years old, has been the full-time offensive coordinator for the Bills since 2024. But Joe Brady is not the only former LSU assistant on the move today. The Washington Commanders have hired Vikings defensive passing game coordinator Durante Jones as their new DC. Of course, Jones, LSU's defensive coordinator, Ned Orgeron's final year of 2021, joined the Vikings staff the year after that as DB's coach, then added the pass game coordinator task. Has worked under Vance Joseph, Mike Zimmer, and Brian Flores. Also spent time with the Dolphins and the Bengals. Durante Jones now the DC of the Washington Commanders. Some NBA action quickly here. Tari Eason, a night ago, 27 minutes and a start for the Rockets. 17.7 boards for Eason, 6-17 from the floor, 50% from three, and a cool plus 10. Rockets got the dub 108-99. And then Naz Reid, 25 minutes off the bench.
Should have stayed.
15 points, 50% from the floor, would add 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals to round out his night. His plus-minus, plus 30 for Naz Reid. That's pretty absurd for a bench player, but that's why he's the best 6-man in the league. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Evermore, EVAMOR, Evermore.com, Evermore.com, available at great local retailers. Y'all, when it's cold outside, so often we forget to stay hydrated. We get dehydrated in the winter months because we're not sweating, we're not hot, we're not parched, but you still need to drink water and stay hydrated. Evermore is natural artesian water, and it is a Louisiana product. It's a healthier alternative, nothing added, nothing taken away, just straight out of a natural artesian well, right into the bottle. Doesn't touch air until you uncap it. Take that first delicious sip. Taste the difference with Evermore. Find the retailer online nearest you, evermore.com, or buy it online at evermore.com, EVAMOR, evermore.com. We will talk to Sean Fazende coming up in about 20 minutes from right now. He's there in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. They had the first day of practice today, so we'll get Sean's takeaways. And really, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about with Sean. Obviously, the players that the Saints are interested in and might be keeping an eye on. You have members of the Saints coaching staff, including Joel Thomas, working there at the Senior Bowl this week in Mobile. But also the LSU guys. Garrett Nussmeier met with reporters at the main stage a day ago, was on off the bench earlier today. And getting a look at Garrett Nussmeier throwing for the first time, I think is going to be fascinating. We've said it repeatedly, but I think Garrett Nussmeier is, if not the player in this draft with the most to gain. He is on the short list. A guy that was coming into this season a projected first-round draft pick, had the oblique, the core, whatever thing that limited him, and now has a lot to prove. That starts this week in Mobile. All right, SportsCenter's coming up.
After further review.
We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Y'all, they always have great deals at South Point Volkswagen. I know so often I talk about the style, the feel, the performance of luxury, and that is true. When you're driving a Volkswagen, you get the great German engineering, you get the 9 different IIHS top safety picks, the highest safety designation you can get. You get all the style of luxury. You sit in a Volkswagen, you understand it. The leather, trim, the LED lighting, all the luxury features. Manufactured right here in the US of A at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant, but my goodness, they'll always make you a deal too. How about right now at South Point Volkswagen, $2,500 off 2026 Atlas Cross Sport. That's a 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. Go check it out today. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
Trust isn't given, it's earned. Earned both on the court and off. And every step along the way, I trust Our Lady of the Lake to keep me in the game.
FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake experts provide best-in-class care for our state's world-class athletes because it takes a champion to care for champions.
On the court, I trust my team. For my health care, I trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email LockeMeredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. 8-time Super Bowl winning coach Bill Belichick is not a first-ballot Pro Football Hall of Famer. In voting earlier this month, he inexplicably fell short of the 40 out of 50 votes needed for induction into Canton during his first year of eligibility, reports ESPN. The class of 2026 will be announced next week. 8 days after firing Sean McDermott, the Bills hired their new head coach, promoted Joe Brady, the man who's been their offensive coordinator the last 2+ years, gets a 5-year contract, now starts putting together his staff. And the front office has work to do, too, points out our Harry Douglas.
They still need better personnel, another receiver, another number one guy that he can go to at any juncture in the ball game, whether he's double covered, whether he's one-on-one, whether, it's a contested catch. They still need that guy.
During today's introductory press conference, Steelers coach Mike McCarthy answered definitely when asked if he'd like Aaron Rodgers to return as quarterback. The Broncos fired offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi. The Titans set to hire former Giants head coach Brian Daboll as their offensive coordinator, provided he does not get the Raiders head coaching job.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs, from quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Head to Mobile. Talk to Sean Fazende here in about 15 minutes from right now. Hey, my apologies. We were supposed to talk to LSU transfer tight end Zach Grace right now. He just messaged me. Something came up. He's got a bump. So we are going to – I don't think it's going to work today. We're going to shoot maybe for tomorrow. And hopefully we get to catch up with Zach Grace either tomorrow or on or another day later this week. So, again, apologies. That was a little curveball there at the last minute. So I apologize for that. I am looking forward to that conversation, though, because I think Zach Grace is one of the more interesting prospects in this portal class. Like, he signed 42. So storylines abound. But if you look at Zach Grace during his time at Oregon, he has not recorded a statistic offensively. He was a freshman there in 2023, didn't play in a game, so he redshirted. 2024, he played in 10 games, 41 offensive snaps, 20 as a fullback. And then this year, played in every game as a fullback, H-back, tight end. He's listed as a tight end, 6'3", 240. But a guy that in 3 years hasn't recorded an offensive statistic at Oregon. And I guess I look at that as really interesting because why would you come into Lane Kiffin's offense? Lane Kiffin hasn't really utilized a fullback. We have seen some sort of interesting formations where, I think about a year ago where J.J. Pegues, the big defensive lineman, was sort of a short yardage. They would use him as a short yardage back. But here you're talking about a guy that in 3 years in college football at Oregon never recorded a statistic. and coming to an offense that hasn't really utilized a tight end or an H-back. And when you think about that tight end position where you've got Trey'Dez Green coming back, where you made a large financial investment. You brought in Malachi Thomas from Pitt, who's also more of the pass-catching tight end, but Malachi Thomas came on the show and told us he's working on his physicality, likes blocking, likes the physical nature of the game as well. You signed J.D. LaFleur a year ago. You added a tight end in the 2026 class. So it's interesting because Zach Grace brings a dynamic to this offense that didn't currently exist before he showed up. And quite honestly, I don't know that Lane Kiffin had at Ole Miss. So I'm interested in this conversation. Hopefully we get to have this convo tomorrow. My apologies. That was just a last-minute change there as he just messaged me. He's like, something came up. I can't do 5. So we'll see if we can do it tomorrow. But, picking LSU, coming from Oregon, leaving a place where they made the playoffs the last 2 years to come to Baton Rouge, how he fits in this offense. And remember, the other interesting thing about Zach Grace is it's not just Zach. His brother Theo Grace just finished his freshman season as a linebacker at the University of North Dakota, and he transferred as a part of this LSU class as well. He's one of the guys. Remember, there's 7 freshmen that redshirted that have 4 years of eligibility remaining that came in as a part of this transfer class, and Theo Grace is one of them. So you're getting Zach Grace with 2 years of eligibility remaining and Theo Grace with 4 years of eligibility remaining, both coming in. So anyway, hopefully we'll get a chance to catch up with Zach Grace tomorrow on the show. My apologies for that. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. For Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, gents, Valentine's Day, 2 weeks from Saturday. Don't screw it up. Go to Lee Michaels, thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. 9 locations in all, 2 in Baton Rouge, Corporate Boulevard, Bocage, Mall of Louisiana, Lafayette, New Orleans, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com. Listen, maybe you're going to pop the question. Nobody has a better selection of beautiful diamond engagement rings than Lee Michaels. Maybe you want a beautiful pair of earrings. Maybe it's a bracelet, a necklace, a watch. Whatever it is you're looking for, you want a beautiful piece of jewelry that will thrill her and make you the hero, Lee Michaels has it. lmfj.com, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. The other sort of big story today, we are going to head to Mobile in just a few minutes here, talk to Sean Fazende from Fox 8, who's there, certainly cover the New Orleans Saints, but also the LSU guys. Garrett Nussmeier is going to be one of the big storylines this week in Mobile. It was interesting hearing Drew Fabianich, who we had a chance to meet at SEC Football Media Days this summer, who's now the executive director of the Senior Bowl. Remember Jim Nagy for years. Jim left his role at the Senior Bowl to become the general manager with Oklahoma football, and so Drew Fabianich replaced him. And I was listening to Drew Fabianich with the fellas this morning on OTB, and he said point blank that he invited Garrett Nussmeier to participate in the Senior Bowl before the season even started. And as the season was going and Garrett wasn't playing well, he was relaying how people were asking him, you still inviting Nussmeier? He's like, absolutely. And the point he's made over and over again, I've heard him in many different on many different interviews talking about Garrett, is he can't unsee the 2024 film. Like you saw, that's a thing that happened. That's part of the resume. This guy threw for 4,000 yards and was awesome in big moments. You can't unsee 2024 because 2025 happened. So you need to have an opportunity to go fully evaluate Garrett. I remember, man, like we talked to Drew, we talked to Jim Nagy. I mean, Jim told us at SEC Media Days this summer that if Garrett Nussmeier had come out in last year's draft, he would have graded Garrett as the best quarterback in last year's draft, ahead of Cam Ward, who went first overall. So, it's in there, and there are believers in Garrett. I think he's just got to reignite that flame for those that went into the season believing in him and see if they can after what transpired this season. So Garrett sat down with the guys who went off the bench earlier today. You want to catch that full interview, you can catch it on demand. Just go to Off the Bench, OTB on demand. And Garrett did tell Flynn and Hester kind of what he's hoping to show this week there in Mobile.
For one, just trying not to come here and prove anything. You know what I mean? Just being myself.
Yeah.
Letting teams get to know who I am and what I'm about. Being able to wear 18 at LSU. I think for one, that was a huge honor for me to be like, hey, that kind of sets the tone.
Yeah.
That's what I am. I'm a team guy. That's my MO. And so I don't want to go out there and be like, all right, I got to prove to them I can make every throw. I think that one, they're going to watch the tape, and two, I'm just out here to one, enjoy this experience. Two, but to also prove to teams that I am who I say I am.
The other thing that's obviously, by the way, a couple of LSU guys ended up being injured, not making the trip to the Senior Bowl that were initially committed. Jack Pyburn among them that had been committed to the Senior Bowl, now not able to make the trip because of injury. But Garrett does have a few wide receivers there as well. Barry and Brown's there. Aaron Anderson is there at the Senior Bowl. And for a receiver for a quarterback who working with receivers where timing matters so much, having his guys certainly is a big deal.
Both of those guys are unbelievable players, and Aaron obviously dealt with some injuries and stuff this year too. And so, as you said, his feel for space, and he's got a natural instinct, playing football. And so, obviously we've seen a lot of pretty special plays out of him over the past couple of years at LSU, and also excited for Barry on too to kind of get a chance to show what he's really about as well. And he's a dang good player too, and so excited for him as well.
A.J. Halsey, by the way, Pyburn and Halsey are the two LSU players that had been committed to the Senior Bowl that had to back out because of injury. Another storyline there, because of the weather, a lot of people, both media and potential participants, had to pull out because the weather couldn't physically travel this weekend to get to the Senior Bowl. So be curious to ask Sean Fazende about that as well. So Sean Fazende, Fox 8, is there in Mobile. He's going to join us when we come back. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Tuesdays AFR, we are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Don't you move.
After further review.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. The Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Watermark, as we always say, is Baton Rouge's premier hotel property in downtown Baton Rouge. Gorgeous property in downtown Baton Rouge. It was the original high-rise building. I know I say that all the time, but with it being carnival season here and a lot of events like KKDL is coming up this Friday night in downtown Baton Rouge. You're going to have other Mardi Gras balls. There was one this past weekend. If you're going to be at an event in downtown Baton Rouge, why not make it sort of a staycation? Why not, book a room at Watermark Baton Rouge and sort of make a long weekend out of it? The lobby bar is gorgeous. We always tell you about that hotel lobby that's maintained so much of the historical integrity of that building. The guest rooms are luxurious, palatial. No better place to be than at the Watermark Hotel in downtown Baton Rouge.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, ironworkers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Dr. Johnson, that's my guy. He gonna tell me when I need to do better. He gonna tell me when I need to slow down. And I trust him 100%. The medical care that I received at LSU and with Our Lady of the Lake is top tier. I really trust what they telling me, and they keep me right.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me. Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Well, she ain't in the cars or pickup trucks, but if it runs like a deer, man, her eyes light up. She thinks my track.
Some breaking news from the NFL. Adam Schefter is reporting that Bill Belichick will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Forgive me, that's actually, Schefter tweeted it, but it's per Seth Wickersham, and I don't know who this other person is that he has added in the tweet. Belichick fell short of the 40 out of 50 votes needed for induction to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. I mean, that feels as fundamentally stupid as the baseball writers keeping players from being a unanimous Hall of Famer because Babe Ruth wasn't a unanimous Hall of Famer. Bill Belichick's won 8 Super Bowl titles. He won 6 as a head coach of the Patriots. Apparently, Bill Polian, this is from Ari Myrov, tweeted that apparently Bill Polian, I'm reading this tweet, was a vocal figure in the Hall of Fame deliberations involving Bill Belichick, with Spygate and Deflategate coming up among voters during discussions. Per a voter who spoke anonymously, Polian, the former Bills and Colts GM and longtime Patriots rival, told some voters he believed Belichick should wait a year as penance for Spygate. What an idiot. I don't care if you like Bill Belichick or not. Man won 8 Super Bowls, including 6 as a head coach. To not have him in the Hall of Fame on the first ballot is stupid. Whatever. Dude, self-important jackasses exist all over the world in every single phase of life. Way to go, Bill Polian. Self-important jackass. Shut up, idiot. Oh, my God. All right, let's go to Mobile. Sean Fazende, Fox 8 in New Orleans. Good to join us here for a couple of minutes. Yo, man, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I mean, good, but dude, come on. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I saw that, and I just kind of I did a double take when I saw the tweet. I was like, really? We're really doing this?
Bro.
But I guess it is what it is.
That's the best way to say it. It's just self-important idiots thinking.
That's it.
Anyway, whatever. Okay. All right, so the Saints, the whole staff is down there in Mobile. Is that right?
Yeah, whole staff is down here. Joel Thomas, assistant head coach, running back coach, is head coach of the American team. They're practicing as we speak, as a matter of fact. Scott Tolzien, quarterbacks coach, is the offensive coordinator of the American team. And then Peter Thurman is the defensive coordinator, Saints linebackers coach. And they're coaching the American team, which obviously features 3 LSU Tigers on it as well. So, yeah, a lot of local connections here at Mobile this year.
Are you freezing?
It's so cold right now, and it dropped like 20 degrees within the last 30 minutes because the sun went down. So yeah, it's pretty cold out here.
Sean, I can hear like your I can hear it almost sounds like your mouth is numb. Like
it gets like that. Yeah, it's just one of those where it's just like when it gets cold like that, you kind of it is what it is, I guess. You got to battle through it.
Did they? I heard like the attendance was sort of limited or affected by the weather and the travel and all. Like, can you maybe give us some details there?
Yeah, well, I don't know why, but I can tell you I come to this every year, significantly less in terms of the people covering this. Feels like, from a player standpoint, I think most of the guys were able to get here. But I could just tell you, there wasn't nearly the buzz that there normally is for this event. For the first practice earlier today, and obviously the second. It feels like there's a few more people here for the second practice here with the American team. But we were talking about that when we got here, how it just felt it felt quieter this year, which is rare because this event has grown so much over the years. Any
idea who or what positions the Saints might be interested in looking at targeting or talking to?
Yeah, they're going to look for a playmaker on the outside. There's going to be look, as they always do when it comes to the draft, at the offensive and defensive line, particularly the interior of the offensive line. Wouldn't be shocked if they go to linebacker route as well. But, they're BPA, their best player available when it comes to the draft. But this is one of those years where you could talk yourself into a lot of positions of need for the Saints. So they'll be paying close attention. And with the Saints coaching staff, it's not just that they're getting an up-close look. I mean, they're running Kellen Moore's offense. They're running Brandon Staley's defense for the most part. So you're also getting to see these guys doing, a vanilla version of the Saints schemes.
Sean Fazende, Fox 8's in Mobile, freezing, but taking some time to chat with us. Who are the buzz players there? Like, who's getting the conversation there?
Well, it seems like there's a lot of people looking here for the Notre Dame wide receiver. Is it Malachi Field, 0? Looks the part, really. Has had a pretty good practice here over the last hour or so as I watched this American team play. And then, obviously, Nuss is one of the biggest names, and he's here, and he's had a decent practice thus far. You can tell he's kind of working through some things. It's their first practice, so the chemistry isn't quite there with all the receivers, but decent enough. A lot of work under center with a lot of these guys. And then, look, first practice is Diego Pavia. He's the biggest name. But I'm here to tell you, Matt, he is every bit of 5'9". It was the first thing that jumped out when I walked out here. I didn't realize how short he was. I just wouldn't compare it to some of the other players out here. But he had a decent practice as well. So, yeah, there's buzz for those guys. Yeah, I mean, all in all, and you'll hear more names as the week goes on with more practice compile up.
You mentioned Nuss. You got a video posted there of him, kind of a little play action rollout. How's Nuss? It's early, but how's he looking so far today? First time we've seen him do football things in 2 months.
Yeah, well, it was interesting when he got out here. He was the first one out here for practice, doing some sort of work, dealing with that oblique injury. Looks like he's getting himself back into shape. I thought the one-on-ones, he had a couple of really nice throws, but one-on-ones are really, they're designed for, offensive advantage there. He's operating under center pretty effectively, considering they didn't really do a whole lot of that at LSU. It's a pretty basic play calling right now. It's a lot, that throw I posted is a pretty standard play in the NFL playbook. You fake the handoff, do a little bootleg to the right, and throw it to that tight end, run that little flat route right there. So looks like he's working his way back. So far, so good. He really works the second level, that intermediate level, well, just as a prospect. So if he can get better at some of the deep ball consistency and always stay consistent with his layups and from 0 to 10 yards, I think he'll have a nice chance to hopefully move up draft boards here in Mobile.
What about the other LSU guys that are there?
Yeah, Aaron Anderson had a filthy route on this one-on-one, but it's hard to really judge one-on-one because it's so skewed towards the offense. He's had a couple of misalignments. Barry and Brown, a couple nice catches as well. So yeah, I mean they're here. They'll meet with the Saints, meet with other teams that are here as well. So far so good. Again, it's only been 1 hour, one practice thus far, but all things considered, it's a pretty good day.
What's the rest of the week look like?
Tuesday practice, Wednesday practice, Thursday practice. I think it's Friday. There's some sort of event that they have to go to, and then Saturday is the game. And they push practices back because normally we're done by this point, but they push practices back from 1:30 to 3:30 for the national team and 4 to 6 for the American team. And they're doing player interviews, I guess, with scouts and teams before practice now. So that'll generally be the schedule for the rest of the week. I think there's a media session tomorrow before practice as well for a few select players and coaches. So pretty standard week out here in Mobile.
Last thing, you mentioned the Notre Dame receiver. Any other standouts so far through 2 practices?
The guy I like, and look, it's hard to really get a full look at him because it's one practice, but just given that the Saints are big on interior offensive linemen, one guy that really stood out to me early, and this is not, I don't know if he's someone you would see in terms of like Mick Shea or anybody like highlighting him, but it really felt like Keelan Rutledge, Georgia Tech interior offensive lineman. He played left guard, he played right guard, and he played center, all within that first practice today. Really pretty smooth off the ball, showed some versatility, got to the second level in the combo blocks, was able to do the zone blocking well where the back was able to cut behind him. So that was just one name that I noticed. Keelan Rutledge from Georgia Tech, interior offensive line.
All right. Senior Bowl practices getting underway there in Mobile. Make sure you follow Sean. He's on Twitter at Sean Fazende, Fox 8, at Sean Fazende, Fox 8. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Be well. This is After Further Review, brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together we roar. Always encourage you, if you want to get by the website, it's olrmc.com/LSU. That's where you can find out more about the championship health partnership with LSU and Our Lady of the Lake, which is transforming health and sports and education and research for Louisiana and beyond. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Again, olrmc.com/LSU. That's the website if you want to learn more how they're sort of enhancing graduate medical education, integrating student learning across multiple disciplines, how they care for the community, the campus, and, of course, so many NIL deals. You see it all the time. Football season's beyond us now. We're talking about basketball, Flaugier, Michaela Williams, DJ Thomas. So many of the basketball athletes at LSU are NIL athletes and championship health partners there of LSU Athletics and Our Lady of the Lake. So when you think LSU, think Our Lady of the Lake. When you think the Lake, think LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Jimmy will be along in about 20 minutes from right now for Otterlocks. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways you get involved in the show. If you want to do that, you can do it. I do want to react and get some more reaction to this Bill Belichick story. If you're just joining us and missed it, Bill Belichick will not be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. So next week at the NFL Honors on Thursday is when they'll announce the Pro Football Hall of Fame class. And by the way, Drew Brees, of course, is a finalist. He's a first-year eligible player, and he is a finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And we are all expecting that Drew Brees, of course, will be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. And so he should be elected this week, and we'll find out on Thursday at the NFL Honors when they announce the class, the new class for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And then, of course, the new Hall of Famers will be introduced at the Super Bowl as well, with the induction coming July in Canton around the Hall of Fame game, that Hall of Fame weekend. So we are. It should be a great celebration of the greatest player in the history of the New Orleans Saints next week with the Hall of Fame announcements being made public. But Bill Belichick will not be part of it. As a first-year eligible coach, he will not be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. A man who's won 8 Super Bowl titles, 6 as a head coach, more than anyone else, will not be a first-ballot Hall of Famer because people are dumb. It's After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break. We're powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Stay here.
AFR.
GLO, glowresources.com. Glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions. Glow Resources and glowresources.com. Hey, listen, if you're a business owner and you've seen productivity lack by the lack of the right people, you need Glow Resources. And you could say, well, can I afford it? Should I spend to have somebody help me hire? I would actually phrase it the other way. How much are you losing in lack of productivity when you keep turning over employees and you don't have the most efficient people in your organization? What if you had the right people in the right seats on the bus? Well, that's what Glow Resources specializes in. It doesn't matter if it's skilled blue-collar labor, If it's any type of office job, from an office level assistant to the C-suite, they can help you find permanent solutions. It's Glow Resources. Check them out at glowresources.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Dr. Johnson, that's my guy. He gonna tell me when I need to do better. He gonna tell me when I need to slow down. And I trust him 100%. The medical care that I receive at LSU and with Our Lady of the Lake is top tier. I really trust what they telling me, and they keep me right.
Lockmeyer to Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades. But our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lockmeyer to Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable. And
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, Jimmy will be here in about 15 minutes for Otter Locks. Find out what we're betting on tonight. We're talking about, if you're just joining us, Bill Belichick will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's from multiple reports. I think ESPN was the first to have it. If you're wondering, a coach, the criteria for a coach to be Hall of Fame eligible is they have to be retired from the game for 1 year. So for Belichick, having not coached a year ago, meant this cycle he was eligible to come on the ballot. Naturally, he proceeded and progressed pretty seamlessly through to being a finalist. But we learned today, as they've gone through the balloting process, the voting process, that he will not be a Hall of Famer here on the first ballot, which is stupid. Bronson sent a text and said, Matt, does this mean Sean Payton will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer because of Bountygate? That's a really good question. And Bronson, to be very honest, man, I don't know that Sean Payton would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer anyway, which may sound silly. It may be silly, quite honestly. But, I think, first of all, you got to remember it's really hard to get into the Hall of Fame. You have players and coaches that are immensely worthy that have to wait because of the limitations on the number of electees every year. mean, Kevin Mawai is a great example of that. Kevin Mawai had to wait a half a decade to finally get elected. I mean, he was a guy that played 2 decades in the NFL, was part of the all-decades team in 2 different decades in the National Football League, and still had to wait, through 5 cycles till, I believe it was 5 cycles, before he finally got elected. And sometimes it's a logjam at positions, and sometimes you have no doubter first ballot guys like Drew Brees will be this year, like we all thought Bill Belichick was going to be this year. And so it's not always as cut and dried. I mean, look at Eli Manning. I mean, Eli Manning became a real lightning rod a year ago because there were a lot of people who assumed Eli would be a first ballot Hall of Famer as a 2-time Super Bowl champion with the Giants and the Iron Man streak he had, and one of the top. Eli's, if you look at the NFL's all-time passing leaders, as far as passing yardage, I mean, Eli checks a lot of those boxes. He's 11th in NFL history in passing yardage, and so everybody that's that's retired, that's in the top 15 in passing yardage, are all in the Hall of Fame. And Fran Tarkenton's 15th, Warren Moon's 13th, Elway's 12th. I mean, so Eli Manning threw for more yards than John Elway, won 2 Super Bowls, as did Elway. So I guess all that to say, like, it's an inevitability. Like Brees will be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but just sometimes, and Eli, I think, will be a Hall of Famer. 11th in NFL history in passing yardage, a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He's going to get in, but it's just really hard to be a first ballot guy where it's just absolutely no conversation you go in. But if Bill Belichick isn't a first ballot guy, then you start to wonder, like, who is? And the conversation apparently with Bill Polian bringing up in the room was that this should be a punishment for Spygate, which one thing I know doing this job for as long as I have is that it is hard, if not altogether impossible, to get unanimous agreement from sports fans on anything. I mean, sometimes I feel like I could give everybody in the world $500 and there'd be people that would complain that I didn't give them $1,000. Like, it's just, there are some people who would just always be contrarian and counterintuitive and ebb instead of flow. And it's why you have people, even though the whole world seems to think it makes sense, in baseball to have unanimous Hall of Famers, but you got some old writers who won't vote players unanimously. And Mario Rivera was, but like, it was the first, but because Babe Ruth wasn't, so like, well, no one should be, and so they won't vote anybody, to be a unanimous Hall of Famer. It just, I think, goes against the spirit of what you're doing there, and quite honestly, people like me, and not just me, but I mean, people who have a platform, a microphone, whatever, and really, quite honestly, everybody go on social media, Twitter, and everyone's conversation today is going to be disparaging the Pro Football Hall of Fame for not electing Bill Belichick on the first ballot. And I think that is a disservice to the people in this class who will get in, because instead of solely celebrating those who get in, part of the conversation in this Hall of Fame class inevitably is going to be Bill Belichick not being in. And I don't care what you think about Bill Belichick. It don't matter. You think he's a jerk. You think he's standoffish. You hate that he mumbled through press conferences. You hate his cutoff sleeves and the stupid hoodie. Like, you hate that he's 75 and dating a 20-whatever-year-old. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care how you feel about Bill Belichick. The undeniable, irrefutable truth is the man won more Super Bowls than anybody. Like, I mean, they should rename a wing of the Hall of Fame after him. Shouldn't even be a question that he's in. So, it's unfortunate, man. It's a real disservice to the rest of the people in this class that's going to happen. But the question that on the text line that Bronson asked was about Sean Payton. All that to say, winning, I might compare Sean Payton to Bill Cowher, who had a long successful run in Pittsburgh. He won a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh, lost a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh back in 1995. 94, 95. No, 94 was Niners Chargers. 95 is when the Cowboys beat the Steelers. So they lost in 95. Then he won, finally broke through and beat the Seahawks in 05. But the 05 season. But Bill Cowher had to wait to get into the Hall of Fame. So I think Sean Payton will be a Hall of Famer. I don't know that Sean Payton is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, if he ends up winning a Super Bowl in Denver, that could completely change the conversation. It's a lot of the conversation we were having last week about Matthew Stafford, how this felt like a potentially legacy-altering season and postseason for Stafford. Like if Stafford had gotten to this Super Bowl and won it, and now you're talking about a guy who's 6th in NFL history in passing yardage and had gone to and won 2 Super Bowls. Well, now you're right there in that same conversation with Elway, who won 2, and Peyton, who won 2. You know, Eli, who's not in, but has won 2. It elevates you over guys like Breeze, who only won 1. So I say only, but for the sake of the conversation, as far as talking about Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, those are legacy defining type moments. So Sean Payton's legacy and his career, the full narrative isn't written yet. And if he does end up getting back and getting to and through and winning a Super Bowl in Denver, then I think all that changes. But in the meantime, I don't know that I think Sean Payton would be a first ballot. I mean, I think he deserves to be. I certainly think he is a Hall of Fame coach. But he, like many, will probably have to wait his turn. Bill Belichick should not have to wait his turn, however. All right, it's time for further review. We're brought about Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, ARCCO, Arco.com. It's Arco Power Systems. Hey, listen, this is an unfortunate time to have to remind you of this, but this is a good reminder of why you need industrial Generac generator power for your business. Arco Power Systems, Arco.com, ARCCO, whatever type of business you may own and operate, Arco can help. Everything is turnkey. They can install a standby automatic generator for your business, your industrial facility, your commercial facility. They can install it. They can service it. They can rent you a generator. This is not standby generator power for your home. This is for your business. Doesn't matter if it's a hospital, a school, church, a grocery store, a gas station, a bank. If it's an emergency system for governments, municipalities. When a storm hits, power goes out, and you need emergency power. Who do you trust? You trust Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, ARCCO, Arco.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Remember, if you missed anything, AFR On Demand. Shea Dixon was here in Hour 1. We talked a little Cruton. The big story, if you missed it today, in the Cruton world, is that Corey Barber, the wide receiver out of the state of Alabama, who was an Ole Miss commit, flipped to LSU after Lane Kiffin got the job and signed in that December signing period. Corey Barber got his 5th star from Rivals today. So LSU now with 3 5-stars in this class. And you want to know why Lane Kiffin took the LSU job, aside from the obvious? Like, just to add some color. With Lamar Brown, Richard Anderson, and now Corey Barber, that's 3 5-stars that Lane Kiffin has signed at LSU before he's coached a game. In 6 years at Ole Miss, he signed 1 5-star. I mean, as he's fond of saying, just different. That's a pretty good illustration of it. So, Lane Kiffin doing work. That, I tell you what, man, that adds a whole different layer of intrigue around Corey Barber. Corey Barber, and remember Ryan Muret, the offensive lineman from Miami, who was another one who flipped into this class. Braden Allen, who was an Oklahoma commit, who Lane flipped to LSU. From Lafayette Christian, from LCA. But Corey Barber getting that 5th star after a really dynamic senior season there in Pinson, Alabama, adds a whole different layer of intrigue. Right or wrong, we pay more attention to the guys that show up on campus when they have the 5th star. And sometimes it's Deshaun Womack and Sage Ryan, and it doesn't really materialize. And sometimes it's Dom McKinley, who's a really good, impactful player from jump and continues to get better and better and better. Sometimes you have 5-stars who show up and they are every bit that from the moment they show up on campus, going to have phenomenal. You're Patrick Peterson. You're DJ Pickett. You show up as a freshman, and you're a freshman All-American and the defensive freshman of the year. So we'll see what Corey Barber is, but another reason to shine a spotlight on him when he gets to campus here for the spring semester and goes through spring football. All right, it's time for further review. We are glad to have you hanging out with us here. When I got our final break of the show, our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Bunkie and below, you want a Deere, you're going to Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. All right, final break. Come back. Jimmy will be here for Auto Lock. Stick around.
AFR.
You know, we're going to get down in the 20s again tonight. It's 44 right now. It's a little bit of a warm-up, relatively speaking, but we are going to get back down into the 20s. You're going to be rolling with that heater again tonight. I want to remind you that if you have any issues whatsoever with your heater, call River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. You can spell it out, O-N-E, 1hourbr.com for River City's 1 Hour Air. Remember, one of their licensed technicians will come to your house. They're always on time, or you don't pay a dime, and they'll make sure that your heater is running safely and efficiently during these cold weather weeks and months here in Louisiana. River City's 1 Hour Air, they got more than double the amount of 5-star Google reviews of the next closest competitor. You'll find out why when they come to your house. You'll learn it as well. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
This new year, Hood Dental wants you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays, a $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care, Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And for January only, save 15% up to $150 on restorative treatment. Schedule today at hooddentalcare.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on this Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Hey, before we get to Jimmy, just a quick reminder, tomorrow, and then, of course, Thursday as well, Hester, Flynn, they're at the Senior Bowl all this week, so make sure you catch OTB from 7 to 10 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, online, YouTube. They'll be streaming. It's one of those weeks where you never kind of know who's going to sit down. They've already talked to Luke Altmaier. They had Garrett Nussmeier with them today. So a lot of the players participating there in the Senior Bowl, they'll be able to have sit with them there. And a lot of guys you know, and maybe some stories you don't know. So it'll be really interesting. Make sure that you're tuning in here this week for the guys on OTB at the Senior Bowl. And then next week, I'm wheels up on Tuesday to head out to San Francisco, and I'll be broadcasting Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from Radio Row at the Super Bowl. So very much looking forward. We did that last year, our first time flying away, or our first time covering the Super Bowl last year when it was in New Orleans, and we had all of our shows, our full day. The proximity obviously helped us be able to do the full day of broadcast, but it was such an incredible week. We just made it an emphasis and a point to say we're going again. So AFR will be live from Radio Row Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week at Super Bowl. We're already lining up a ton of great guests, and we'll have a ton of content. So I'll be there. Ross Jackson will be there. Rivers will be there, teching on site and helping with LouisianaSports.net. So Hester will be there as well for his SiriusXM show and also contributing for Off the Bench. So we're really excited, man. We got it's a real busy time with was in Houston last week for the Bear Bryant Awards. The OTB guys are in Mobile this week. I'll be in San Francisco next week for Super Bowl. So blowing and going, man. And it's a great time to be a sports fan. We're thrilled to bring you all the coverage. All right, we're good? Okay, hit it. Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Yo, Otter, what up?
What's up, Matthew?
Another day, another dollar, brah. Flossing and flying. 2-0 last night for the Oddfather. How about him? Give the man his flowers. Give him his dings. How about it? Love to see it. Arizona laying 1.5, won by 3. Duke laying 8.5. They win by 21. Nailed them both. Congrats.
That's the appetizer. You ready for the meal?
I'm ready.
Nebraska undefeated going on the road. We've been riding them. We're going against them tonight, laying a hefty number. Now it's up to 11.5. Taking the Wolverines at home in Ann Arbor against the undefeated.
There is a profit boost on this game at DraftKings, either on a same-game parlay or a single bet. So we're going Nebraska, you said, or Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan. Michigan minus points.
Michigan laying 11.5?
Yes. Oklahoma, chalk early, dogs late. It's a dog. It's up to plus 3.5. It was up 2.5 when I called it in the hunt. Taking a home. Desperate team here. I mean, brutal loss. 3-pointer from the logo to put it in the OT, up to 3-pointer from 35 feet at the buzzer to lose at Missouri. They're desperate. They'll come with a big effort against Arkansas tonight. Virginia lost a 17-point lead against Chapel Hill, against North Carolina, in Charlottesville on Saturday. I'm looking for a major bounce back. It's on the road here in South Bend against Notre Dame. Notre Dame is down, taking Virginia minus the 9.5. Second game on ESPN tonight in the SEC in Nashville. Kentucky's on a 5-game winning streak, but as we know what happened in Baton Rouge, a little smoke and mirrors with this one. We're looking for Vandy, who may have gotten right after that 3-game losing streak, beating Mississippi State on the road by 32. Look at Vandy to take out some frustrations on Kentucky, minus 6.5. TCU plus 5.5 at home in Fort Worth against Houston. Houston had a freshman score 43 points and still could not win against Texas Tech on Saturday. And we expect a close game. We'll take the 5.5 at home against Houston. And then Alabama tonight against Missouri.
By the way, TCU is up to 7.5.
There you go.
Okay.
More on it.
I think I'll just stick with my normal play.
That's fine.
I've learned my lesson enough. I'll take the 7. I'm glad. I'm not going to look at gift horse in the mouth, man. I'll take the 7.5.
But there you go, though. 2 dogs. Oklahoma went from 2.5 to 3.5. TCU went from 5.5 to 7.5. Chalk early, dogs late. Bama minus 10.5 against Missouri is our final pick of the day. Also fired in a money, not a money line, an alt line parlay as a boost at DraftKings, and I used it, and it boosted up to like plus 377. Can pull it up real quick. I
have it. You want me to run through it?
Bama minus 6.5.
Yep.
Virginia money line. Michigan money line. Virginia Tech minus 4.5. So 2 money lines, a 4-teamer. Virginia and Michigan money line. Bama minus 6.5. When you hit your main menu, you go to game lines, and it'll give you a little meter. Bama minus 6.5. Virginia Tech minus 4.5. And Vanderbilt minus 2.5. The 5-teamer. That was boosted from 314 to 377. It's on the website if that's too much for you to write down right now.
It's all there
1
at
minute
LouisianaSports.net. Just hit the sports betting page. You'll see it right there. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
We are at Roca Pizzeria on Government Street in Mid-City.
Great spot. All right, Otter, good luck. Thank you.
Good luck.
I got to find all these. I got to get this alternate line parlay. What's say Virginia Tech minus 4.5? Yeah, I got some work to do here. All right. This is After Further Review. Been a really good show. We appreciate you for hanging out. Remember, if you missed anything, AFR On Demand is presented by Brett Golf. Book your tee time, golf.brett.org. I'm trying to get you the updated number on what this same game parlay comes back at. Come on. Load, phone. You stupid phone. Phone's so stupid. All right, it is it's plus 290. Oh, well, you gotta do the boost. Do the boost, idiot. Whatever. It's a lot. See you tomorrow.
AFR.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, ironworkers, boilermakers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.